Chapter 601. Sima Yue caressed the box containing amber tears, feeling touched. She must have asked the Xinyuan Pavilion to help her search for amber tears and black sea cucumber on such a large scale. She, who had a deep relationship with the Xinyuan Pavilion, got the news and helped her find these. She put away the box and also put away her emotions. Then she asked, "Where is the black sea cucumber you mentioned?" "That person is not here, but he said that he will be here the day after tomorrow and will stay for half a day. When the time comes, he can arrange for you to meet in the afternoon of the day after tomorrow," the supervisor said. "The day after tomorrow?" Sima Yue was stunned. "All right, I'll come over at noon the day after tomorrow." The day after tomorrow was the day of the inner court selection. He hoped that he wouldn't miss it. After explaining everything clearly, Sima Yue, Bei Gong Tang and the others returned to the courtyard. Knowing that she was going out the day after tomorrow, everyone was a little worried. Other than the average spirit master, the others will be selected on the first day. If you go there and miss the selection, what will you do? Wei Ziqi said with some worry. But that person will only arrive at noon and leave that night. I can't miss him. Sima Yue said, "A 10,000-year-old black sea cucumber is very rare even in the Ninth Star Ocean. I don't know if I'll be able to get one in a limited time if I miss it. I'll try to come back as soon as possible." I heard that the competition this time is to complete the pill set by the academy before 6 p.m. The best alchemy department students are at the 6th rank. I think their questions shouldn't exceed the 6th rank. Ouyang Fei said. Sima Yue had decided to apply for the alchemy department. She might have a chance to come into contact with the Eye of the Earth. But to refine a 6th-ranked pill, even the simplest one requires 4 to 5 hours. Bei Gong Tang said, "So you don't have much time." "Yes, I hope that the other party is easy to talk to and can come back soon." Sima Yue sighed. "If we miss the inner yard selection, it will be even more difficult to obtain the Earth's Eye. Hopefully there won't be any accidents that day." A day passed in the blink of an eye. On this day the outer courtyard was in an uproar. There were excited students everywhere. The teachers of the inner courtyard were not in a hurry at all. They only arrived at the selection site when it was almost noon. Sima Yue was already waiting in Xinyuan Pavilion. As the teacher began to announce the selection, Sima Yue had already received the news through the Mother-Sun Stone. The Blue Lotus pill was a rare level 6 medicinal pill. It was mainly used to treat people who had suffered from qi deviation and injured their meridians. Most people would need 5 to 6 hours to concoct this pill. Sima Yue had once spent 5 hours to concoct this pill. It ended before 6 o'clock, which meant that she had to rush back before 1 o'clock, and it was almost 12 o'clock now. She waited in the Xinyuan Pavilion, trying to calm her anxious heart, and began to recall the process of refining the cyan lotus pill in her mind. When it was almost 1 o'clock, a man in black walked in with the steward. "Young Master Yue, this is Child Wu La," the steward said. "This is the child who wants to buy black sea cucumber. Please take your time." After the steward finished speaking, he left the room for the two of them. "Child Wu La? A member of the Violet Water Beast royal family from the Jiaoxing Ming Sea?" Sima Yue looked at Wu Lali. Wu Lali raised his eyebrows, saying, "I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable at such a young age. You actually know about my Violet Water Beast royal family." "I've heard someone mention it before." Sima Yue replied, "I heard that Child Wu La is willing to sell black sea cucumber that is over 10,000 years old." "Wrong, I'm not selling, I'm exchanging." Wu Lali said, "I came out this time to look for something. As long as you have it, we can exchange. If you don't have it, then there's no need for us to continue talking." "What do you want?" 10,000 years old red snow ginseng." Wu Lali said. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat, secretly cursing this guy's appetite. 10,000 years old red snow ginseng was rarer than 10,000 years old black sea cucumber. This guy's abacus was great. "I don't have it," she said directly. "In that case we have nothing to talk about." Wu Lali stood up and wanted to leave. "Wait a minute." Sima Yue called out to him. Wu Lali turned around. "Don't tell me you have it again?" "I don't have red snow ginseng." Sima Yue said, "But I think we can continue talking." "What right do you have to talk to me?" Wu Lali said. "All meridians destroyed, spirit pool destroyed, whole body paralyzed. I think the person you want to save should be like this right now, right?" Sima Yue said calmly. Seeing his face suddenly change, she laughed. "Tell me, do I have the right to talk to you right now?" Wu Lali's body moved, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Sima Yue. He grabbed her neck, and his eyes flashed with a dark red light. "Who are you?" How do you know this? Wu Lali said, full of killing intent. Sima Yue was not afraid. She reached out and pried his hand away, saying, "Aren't you looking for red snow ginseng to save people? And red snow ginseng's greatest use is to refine nirvana pills. It can allow a crippled person to undergo nirvana and cultivate again." Wu Lali saw that she did not seem to be lying, so he did not use much strength. "You're an alchemist?" "Yes," Sima Yue said with a hoarse voice. She rubbed her neck. These strong people all had a common problem: they liked to strangle people. This guy was even more ruthless, almost strangling her to death. Her throat was damaged by him and there was a burning pain. Even her voice changed. She quickly took out a pill and ate it. Wu Lali calmed down and looked at her calmly eating the pill, asking, "You said you have the right to talk to me. Do you think you have the right to talk to me just because you know his situation?" Sima Yue ate the pill and felt that her throat was better. She put the pill away and sat back down. She waved at Wu Lali and waited for him to sit back down before saying, "You want to refine nirvana pills, but you can't find all the ingredients. Other than red snow ginseng, you can't find any other ingredients. Am I right?" "How do you know?" Wu Lali frowned. "Because the ones you're missing are all extinct." Sima Yue said, "Of course you can't find ingredients that don't exist." Wu Lali frowned. Many people had already told him that most of the ingredients he was looking for no longer existed. But he did not want to give up and kept searching all over the continent. "If you're willing to wait, I can save him." Sima Yue did not care about his expression and continued, "One is the illusory nirvana pills, and the other is saving him. If it were you, which one would you choose?" Wu Lali narrowed his eyes and stared at her calm face. "How do I know if you really have the ability to save him?" Chapter 602. Sima Yue was not anxious about Wu Lali's questioning. She said confidently, "Do you have any other choice other than trusting me?" Wu Lali raised his eyebrows. He didn't like her confidence. "Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. I think that you have already thought of all the methods that you can think of. You have also looked for all the people that you can find. However, you have not obtained a better solution. Otherwise, you would not have placed your hopes on this illusory nirvana pill." Sima Yue said, "Don't be so quick to get angry. Being too impulsive is not a quality an emperor should have." Wu Lali's anger was extinguished by her words. "You're saying that I'm going to bet on you? You can only choose to gamble now." Sima Yue said, "But you can continue to look for your nirvana pill while you gamble. That wouldn't affect anything, would it? I'm just another backup for you. What if I find those materials later? Then I can promise you one thing. I'll help you with something in the future." "You." Wu Lali glanced at her from head to toe. This brat was really overconfident. How could Sima Yue not understand the meaning of his eyes? "Child Wulla, have you heard of a saying? What? One would rather bully a white-bearded old man than bully a poor young man. Although my current strength is very low, I am still young. I still have a bright future ahead of me. Besides, I'm quite talented," Sima Yue said with a smile. Wu Lali laughed for real this time. He had never seen anyone praise him like this. "You're the most confident person I've ever met." "Thank you for your compliment," Sima Yue replied without hesitation. "I don't think I'm praising you. I'll take that as a compliment." Sima Yue said, "To humans, black sea cucumber is a very rare medicinal ingredient, but to the Sea clan, it's not uncommon. To be honest, this is very important to me. However, the Nine-Star Ocean is so big. Who knows, I might run into someone else who has it. However, you won't be able to meet a doctor as confident as me. How about it, Child Wulla? Is this a good deal?" "I need to know your strength," Wu Lali said. "If you agree to give it to me, I can show you my strength right away," Sima Yue said. "First, I want the black sea cucumber in stock." Wu Lali looked at her and thought for a while. Maybe it was her confident look that made him believe her. "The black sea cucumber that has left the sea cucumber from the bottom. Or it will quickly. Wulla, the black sea cucumber that will prove it." Sima Yue kept the black sea cucumber and her heart finally relaxed. "All right, come with me." Wu Lali followed her out and realized that she had become so anxious after leaving the house that she had been so calm just a moment ago. "Young Master Yu, the beast carriage is ready." The steward was waiting for her in the hall below the stairs. "Child Wulla is going to the school with me. I will send him back in a while." Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali and ran towards the carriage at the door. Wu Lali followed her out. Seeing the small hand grabbing his, a dark light flashed in his eyes. This feeling didn't seem to belong to a man's hand. Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali onto the carriage and shouted to the driver, "Go to the heavenly sect, quickly." "Okay, child Yue, sit tight," the driver shouted and drove the carriage towards the heavenly sect. Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue's anxious face. It was very different from before. He couldn't help but ask, "Are you anxious?" "Yes." Sima Yue nodded. She was indeed anxious because a long time had passed. She didn't know if she could catch up. "You are very strange." "Huh?" Sima Yue looked at him doubtfully. She didn't understand his words. "When you were talking to me, you were very calm and didn't seem to be anxious at all. But now..." Wu Lali looked at her with interest. "How can I talk to you if I'm not calm?" Sima Yue smiled. "I have always believed that no matter how anxious you are, you have to calm down and do what you are doing now." Very good psychology. Wu Lali leaned back. "You said you wanted to prove your ability to me. Is this what you are in a hurry to do?" "Yes. If I can do this well, then you will be able to see my ability," Sima Yue said. She opened the curtains and looked. The beast carriage was very fast. It was already halfway through the journey. The two didn't speak for the rest of the time. Sima Yue lowered her head and thought about her own matters. Wu Lali looked at her thoughtfully. The academy's outdoor venue was bustling with noise because it was the first day of the inner sect selection. It was also the day of the selection for the alchemy department. In order to satisfy everyone's curiosity, only one department's assessment was held each day. Today it was alchemy, tomorrow it was erased, the day after that it was weapon refining, the day after that it was beast taming, and the last few days were spirit masters. The open-air venue was filled with students who were watching the competition attentively. It was very rare to see hundreds of students refining pills together. Half of the time had already passed. Those who were fast had already finished refining the ingredients and were beginning the second step of fusing them. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei were at the back. The two of them had already finished refining the ingredients and were preparing for the second step. Beside them, a pill furnace and 2 sets of ingredients were still on the table. Before the two of them fused, they glanced at that position and then looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with deep worry. "It's already 2:30. Why isn't Yue here yet?" Fatty Chu said worriedly. "It's only 3.5 hours. To successfully refine a 6th-ranked pill, I'm afraid. No, 5th bro won't give up." Sima Yue clenched his fist. He didn't believe that Sima Yue would give up this opportunity. "I believe in her too," Sima Yulin said. The people in the stands had already noticed that one person was absent. Previously, everyone thought that someone would be late. Now it seemed that the person had given up this opportunity. The student that old Gu mentioned didn't come? On the rostrum, a teacher said to Gu Liang beside him, "I wanted to see what kind of student you praise so much looks like. Now it seems that there's no chance." Gu Liang rolled his eyes when he saw his infuriating smile. He looked at the last empty seat and felt a little worried. That kid was so determined to go to the inner sect. Why was he absent now? Could it be that something happened? But his friends and family were here. Something happened to him, why would they still be here? At this time there was a noise at the entrance of the venue. Everyone looked and saw that the beast carriage had driven directly to the entrance. "Find a place to sit." Sima Yue jumped down from the carriage and ran towards the venue. "Stop. What are you doing?" The teacher outside the venue stopped her. "Teacher, I'm here to take the selection test." Sima Yue replied. "No, you can't go in," the teacher said firmly. Chapter 603. What? Isn't there a time limit for this competition? Sima Yue was stunned and asked. "Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. There's no rule that says you can't go in after the time limit, but there's only 3.5 hours left until the end of the exam. It's impossible to refine a 6th grade pill, so it's useless for you to go in. You'll even disturb the other students' exams. You should go back." "No, I have to participate," Sima Yue said firmly. "I have to participate." No, go back quickly. Come earlier for the next selection. Don't miss the opportunity again." The teacher waved his hand, indicating for her to leave quickly. "Teacher, this selection is very important to me. Teacher, please make an exception for me," Sima Yue begged. "It's not about being accommodating. You don't have enough time to go in now. Even if you go, it'll be a waste of time." The teacher's heart wasn't made of stone. Seeing such a young boy begging in front of him, he couldn't bear it. He also understood how big the difference was between the inner courtyard and the outer courtyard. "What's wrong?" Gu Lang came from behind and asked. "Teacher Gu." "Teacher Gu, This student said that she wants to go in and participate in the assessment. That teacher said. Let her in, said Glenn. But there's not much time left. Let her in. Gulang repeated and turned back. The teacher on guard didn't understand why Gulang wanted her to go in, but he still stepped aside to let her pass. Thank you, teacher. Sima Yue smiled at him and ran towards the assessment area. Bei Gong Tang and the others had already told her where she was, so she directly ran towards them. Seeing the two of them, she smiled at them and began to check the herbs on the table. When Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei saw them, they heaved a sigh of relief and continued to merge. Su Jin lazily leaned back in his chair. Seeing Gulang come back, he smiled and said, It's him? Gulang didn't answer as he watched Sima Yu refine pills with rapt attention. Su Jin knew that he was like this and wasn't angry. He watched Sima Yu refine pills with him. Time is so tight, but she can still check the materials in an orderly manner. Her temperament is not bad. But old Go, do you think she can refine the green lotus pill in such a short time? This time Gulang finally paid attention to him. Moreover, he even had a slight smile on his face which made Su Jin extremely shocked. As long as it's her, it's fine. Su Jin looked at the smile on the corner of his mouth in horror and shouted, What the hell, it can't be old Gu, you're actually smiling. Heavens, your ice cube face can actually smile. His shout attracted the attention of a few other teachers. The teachers who were about to scold the person who caused the commotion all turned their heads back when they saw him. So it was this lunatic. Just ignore him. Su Jin didn't care about everyone's attitude and continued to talk to Gulang, but Gulang just ignored him. Old Gu, why do you keep looking at her? Now that he only had 3 hours, it was impossible for him to refine the green lotus pill. Holy shit, am I seeing things? She actually... The expression on Su Jin's face was even more horrified than when he saw Gulang's smile just now. His hand that was pointing at Sima Yue kept trembling and he couldn't say a word. When the other teachers saw his big reaction, they also looked at Sima Yue. When they saw her throwing several herbs into the furnace at the same time, they were all shocked. She's crazy? How can she put all these herbs in at the same time? How can she extract the essence like this? Waste. A teacher shouted. Whose student is that? How can she waste herbs like this? How do the teachers in the outer court teach her? No, she's not my student. She's also not my student. Even if she's not your student, she can't waste herbs like this. I suggest that the school should punish a student who doesn't cherish herbs like this. That's the student who just came in, right? Why did you let this kind of student in? See, just as they were denouncing her, Sima Yue threw in a few more herbs and continued to refine them. How can Tian waste herbs like this? I suggest that she be disqualified from the assessment and be chased out. Right, we can't let her continue to waste herbs. A person who doesn't know how to cherish herbs can't become a good alchemist. I agree. Are you all stupid? Just as the teachers were shocked, a contemptuous voice interrupted their discussion. Su Jin, what do you mean? Being called stupid, everyone was unhappy. What I said is what I meant. You can't even understand this, looks like you're really stupid. Su Jin lazily said. Su Jin, don't use your status to randomly slander people. Another teacher stood up and reprimanded him. How am I randomly slandering people? Su Jin glanced at that teacher. You can't even see the multiple refining method and said that the student is wasting herbs. If you're not stupid, then what are you? What did you say? That teacher's body swayed and he took a step back to stabilize his body. Multiple refining method, how can she know the multiple refining method? With her strength, how can she control this kind of refining method? Your last question hit the nail on the head. Su Jin said, but no matter how she controlled it, she did it. Look at the essence that she refined. It's very pure. A middle-aged man who hadn't spoken until now said, all right, what are you all arguing about? There are still so many students watching. Let's all quietly watch the students refine. Yes. Once the man spoke, everyone quieted down and didn't say anything else. However, everyone's attention was now on her. They were very curious as to how she could control the multiple refining method. You already knew that she could do this. Su Jin moved to Gulang's side and said, that's why you let her participate in the selection. Because you know that this can greatly shorten the time she needs to refine pills. Gulang glanced at him and said, you still ask when you know. Damn old Gu, you really know that you did it on purpose. Su Jin fiercely glared at Gulang. I already said that she's very special. You didn't take it to heart. Gulang said with a smile. You only said that her talent is not bad, her medical skills are very high, she can refine pills and she's very special. You didn't say that she knew the multiple refining method. Su Jin complained. If I told you, how could it be more shocking than seeing it with your own eyes? Ge Lang didn't want to admit that he did it on purpose. Who told him to keep chattering in his ear? To be honest, when he first found out that she knew the multiple refining method, his shock wasn't any smaller than Su Jin's. Since he himself was shocked, he naturally wanted to pull this guy along. Su Jin licked his lips and said, "This student, I definitely want her." Chapter 604. Sima Yue knew what kind of shock her actions would bring, but she had no other choice. She had to enter the inner court and find the Eye of the Earth on the new Dagger Strange website. Moreover, if she had enough talent, she would be able to receive more training from the academy. Perhaps it would be easier for her to obtain information. The people in the stands were stunned by her various movements. Seeing her concoct pills, it was as if they were watching a magnificent performance. Wu Lali casually found a seat and sat down. He kept looking at the people in the room. He looked at the others and then at her. He suddenly believed what she said before. Perhaps she could really help them. Even if she couldn't, she was still a human worth roping in. Sima Yue spent 1.5 hours refining the herbs. Because she had to concentrate on refining several kinds of herbs at the same time, she also felt a little tired after refining. She didn't have time to do it again, so she had to succeed in one go. In order to ensure that her spiritual power could keep up, she took out a pill and ate it, then continued to refine pills. The fusion process was also a time-consuming process. She took out the scarlet honey and added a little bit into it, silently increasing the effects of the blue lotus pill. It also sped up the fusion process. An hour later, the fusion was complete. She was left with the final and most crucial step, condensing the core. At this time, some people who were faster had already finished refining their pills, while some people failed at the last moment. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei had already finished refining, but they were not in a hurry to hand in their results. Instead, they stood at their own positions and watched Yue condense the pill. When Mo Sha had taught her the pill congealing technique, although they had learned some of it, they were not as proficient as her. This is. The middle-aged man stood up from his seat. The expression on his face could no longer be described as shock. "I'll do what's wrong." Those alchemist teachers were very puzzled when they saw Du Zishi so excited. Her pill congealing technique. Su Jin also looked at Sima Yue in a daze. He saw her forming seals one by one and reached out to touch his chest. He felt like his heart was about to jump out of his chest. "Old Gu, you've really found a genius." "No, she's a genius." He turned around and grabbed Ge Lang's hand. "She's such a good person. Why did you let her study medicine like you?" "Fortunately, there's no medical department in the inner courtyard. Otherwise we'd be pissed off by you." Ge Lang looked up at the sky and thought, if this brat really enters the inner courtyard, I think you'll really die from anger one day. Time slipped by bit, and Sima Yu's forehead was already covered in dense beads of sweat. Puchi, the sound of the fire extinguishing and the explosion of the furnace could be heard one after another. Sima Yue was not affected at all. She calmly continued with the final step of condensing the pill. Clang. The sound of gongs and drums rang out. Everyone had to stop what they were doing and extinguish the flames under the pill furnace. "Now, Elder Du, please lead the teachers of the inner court to come and check the results," the teacher guarding the door said. Du Zishi led Su Jin and the other teachers, starting from the first row, to inspect them one by one. Those who had successfully refined their pills all placed their pills on the table, their heads held high and chests puffed out in excitement. Those who did not succeed lowered their heads in disappointment. The few hundred people finished their inspection very quickly. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei were both successfully selected. In the end, only Sima Yue was left. Du Zishi walked in front of Sima Yue and stared at her, saying, "Your talent is very good. Thank you for the compliment." Sima Yue said with a smile. "You're able to do this in 3.5 hours. You're much better than your fellow disciples." Du Zishi said, "It doesn't matter if you're successful in refining the pill or not. You can enter the inner courtyard." Sima Yue blinked her eyes. He had given her a pass without even looking at her pill. Seeing that he was preparing to leave, she understood what he was thinking. "Teacher, you're not going to look at the pill I refined?" she asked. "You've already passed the test." Du Zishi said. "Thank you, teacher, for your kindness. But this test still depends on the pill." Teacher doesn't want to give the impression that he's opening the back door. Sima Yue said. "Are you sure?" Du Zishi looked at Sima Yue, Do you know that if you open this pill furnace and don't refine it successfully, you won't be able to enter the inner courtyard? They did not smell the fragrance of the pill at all. In their opinion, she must have failed to refine the pill. Du Zishi said this because he wanted to give her a chance to enter the inner courtyard. I'm sure. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and opened the pill furnace. A medicinal fragrance wafted out. She successfully refined the pill. The surrounding students all gathered around and smelled the fragrance. Everyone knew that she had successfully refined the pill and that the quality was not low. High-grade green lotus pill. Su Jin knew the grade of the pill just by smelling the fragrance. Sima Yue took out the pill from the pill furnace and placed it in her palm, extending it in front of Du Zishi. Not bad, not bad. Now you're a student of the inner courtyard. Du Zishi said, not bad twice before leaving with a smile. Su Jin moved in front of Sima Yue, giving a certain someone who was immersed in joy of fright. Sima Yue looked at the face that suddenly enlarged and subconsciously slapped it. The crisp sound caused the originally noisy venue to suddenly quiet down. Everyone looked over, making the two parties a little embarrassed. I just saw a big mosquito on your face. Sima Yue retracted her hand and said to the people who were looking at them. I was wondering why it was itchy. So it was because of the mosquito. Su Jin calmly touched his face. This brat was really ruthless. Sima Yue innocently blinked at him. Who asked you to suddenly come in front of me? Little brat, your talent is not bad. I'll teach you well in the future. Su Jin smiled at her and said, don't worry, I'll definitely dig out your talent to the fullest. Can I choose my own teacher? Sima Yue asked. No. Su Jin smiled and said, good student, come and report early. I'll wait for you. Ah. Su Jin laughed and left. Sima Yue looked at his back and suddenly felt that if she followed such a teacher, her future life would be unimaginable. Although the other teachers were unhappy with Su Jin's method of choosing a student in advance, no one dared to say a word. Teacher Go. Sima Yue looked at Gulang. Gulang walked over and patted her shoulders, saying, he has the right to choose a student first. This was given to him by the principal. However, he's very good at alchemy. You'll definitely learn a lot from him. And learn well. After saying that, he left. Sima Yue stood in the same place, feeling that her future days were dark. Chapter 605. Book title. Chapter asking for leave. Author, you really scared us to death. We all thought that you wouldn't be able to make it back in time. Bei Gongtang walked to her side and said happily. Sima Yue smiled and said, I also thought that I wouldn't be able to make it in time, but the negotiation process was quite smooth, so I made it in time. Is that the person? Ouyang Fei asked Wu Lali, who was standing outside the arena. After the examination ended, the other students had already left one after another. Only he was still waiting at the same spot. That's him. If I'm not wrong, he should be from the Violet Water Beast Imperial family. Sima Yue said, I still have some things to discuss with her. I'll come back later. All right. When Fatty Chu and the rest walked down, they saw that Sima Yue was already walking towards the exit. Yue, why did you leave without waiting for us? She said that she still had some things to discuss with that person. I think that they were only halfway through their discussion when they came over. Bei Gongtang said. That person is not weak. Sima Yulin said. Yue said that it might be someone from the Violet Water Beast clan's royal family. Ouyang Fei said, let's head back first. Sima Yue walked over. Wu Lali had already come down from the viewing platform. Let's go, we still have some things to talk about. Sima Yue said, I'll send you back. Your performance just now was very surprising. Wu Lali said, no wonder you're so confident. Thank you for your compliment, Sima Yue replied. You're not modest at all. Wu Lali turned and left. Sima Yue followed him and brought him back to Shenyuan Pavilion. Tell me about that person's situation. Sima Yue entered the room and took out a pen and paper, preparing to write it down. Although you're talented, but... Wu Lali still didn't believe that she had a solution. How would you know if I can do it if you don't tell me? Sima Yue said, besides, you should still have some time, right? Since I made a deal with you, I naturally have to do my job well. Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue and saw the seriousness in her eyes. He smirked and said, all right, I'll tell you his symptoms. A few minutes later, Sima Yue was deep in thought as she looked at the paper on the table. She didn't even notice that Wu Lali was looking at her. Is there a way? Wu Lali asked. I have some clues, but it's best if I can see him with my own eyes so that I can treat him better. You can't see her. Wuxia said, "She is now in the Ninth Star Ocean, placed on a crystal bed. If she moves, she will lose her life." "What if I go?" Sima Yue asked. Wuxia stared at her. "Do you know how dangerous the Ninth Star Dark Sea is?" "I know," Sima Yue said, "but you said that you can't bring her here, so I have to go and see her. But I don't know if the academy will agree if I ask for leave before entering the inner courtyard." "All right, if you can go, I will guarantee your safe return." Wuxia said, "Whether you can cure her or not, I won't ask you for the Black Sea cucumber. Although I really want to say that it's a promise, I still have to go back to the academy to ask for leave. If I can't get leave, I can't do anything." Sima Yue said, "I'll go back now. When are you leaving?" "Tomorrow. I had some things to settle this afternoon, but now that I've been delayed, I can only push back my schedule by a day. If you can get leave, I'll change my schedule and bring you back. Then I'll give you an answer tomorrow. I'll go back and ask for leave now." Sima Yue stood up and left. After she left, a figure slowly appeared in the room. "Your Highness, if she gets leave, do we really have to go back directly?" that person asked. "Yes." Wuxia touched the space ring on his finger and said, "But we already know the whereabouts of the dragon's beard. Let your people go. That's just a piece of news, it might not be true. I feel that she's more reliable than the dragon's beard." Wuxia said, "Send someone to investigate her. A human with such outstanding talent, she won't be a nobody in the future." "Yes, Your Highness." Sima Yue went back to the academy and went straight to the vice principal's place. She didn't expect him to be playing chess with Gulang. "Why are you here?" the vice principal asked with a white chess piece in his hand. "Vice principal, I want to ask for leave." Sima Yue said. "Leave? Didn't you just pass the inner courtyard exam? Once the other exams are over, you'll have to go to the inner courtyard to study," the vice principal said. "I know, but I have something urgent to deal with, so I don't know if it's possible. By right, you don't belong to the outer courtyard anymore, so we can't approve it. You still have to go through the inner courtyard," the vice principal said awkwardly, "but you haven't reported to the inner courtyard yet, so the inner courtyard probably doesn't have your information and won't approve it. Doesn't Su Jin have special privileges?" Gulang placed a chess piece on the chessboard and said, "If he agrees, then you can report to him later." "Really?" Sima Yue said happily, but thinking about the slap she gave him today, she wasn't sure if he would make things difficult for her. Half an hour later, Su Jin's exclamation came from the vice principal's courtyard. "I say, old Gu, you called me here in such a hurry just to let her ask for leave? Don't you know what I'm doing right now? Do I even need to know what you're doing? The smell of rouge on your body has already betrayed you." Gulang said, "If I don't call you here, am I supposed to ask the students to go to that place to find you?" Sima Yue immediately understood where that place was. She couldn't help but lower her head and laugh when she thought about how a certain someone was drinking with girls but was called back by Gulang in all seriousness. She really couldn't understand. Gulang was such a serious person, how did he become such close friends with someone like Su Jin? "Laugh, if you laugh again, I won't approve your leave." Su Jin couldn't see Sima Yue snickering and threatened her. "Teacher, does that mean you approve it?" Sima Yue tried hard to suppress the smile on her lips and looked up at Su Jin. But her bright eyes still betrayed her. Su Jin was a little embarrassed by her gaze and explained subconsciously, "That's just a good friend of mine, we're just drinking tea and chatting." Who told the people there to put on rouge and powder, even passing by would cause a smell. Seeing the smile in Sima Yue's eyes getting thicker, he suddenly stopped. Why was he explaining this to her? He was the teacher, she was the student, all right. He cleared his throat and said, "All right, tell me, why are you asking for leave? How long are you planning to ask for? Don't tell me you took a leave of absence just to avoid me?" Chapter 606. Su Jin touched his handsome left cheek. In the evening, it was very painful from her slap. Cough cough. "About that, I'm really sorry about that slap. But that was really just my conditioned reflex." Sima Yue was shocked when she saw him touching her face. Was he going to settle the score with her? "In any case, I'll remember this slap." Su Jin said, "You still haven't said why you're taking leave and for how long?" "I'm going to the Ninth Star Ocean. It should be a few months," Sima Yue replied. "Ninth Star Ocean? With your current strength? Are you sure you're not inviting me for a lifetime?" Su Jin couldn't remain calm when he heard about the Ninth Star Ocean. If such a good seedling were to die early, it would be a huge loss. Even the vice principal and Gulang were surprised by the reason for her absence. Yue, you want to go to the Ninth Star Sea? Gu Lang frowned. Do you know how dangerous that place is? I've long heard of the Ninth Star Ocean's reputation. However, I'm not going alone this time. I'm going with the Violet Water clan. Sima Yue said. Violet Water Beast? How do you know people from the Violet Water Beast? Gu Lang asked. The Violet Water Beast race was not a small race in the Ninth Star Ocean, and they were not a race that was easy to get along with. She was with the Violet Water Beast race, so it was inevitable that people would think the worst and worry that she was being threatened. Teacher Gu, I found the Black Sea Cucumber. Sima Yue said. You made an exchange with them? Gu Lang looked at her disapprovingly. The Violet Water clan has the bloodline of the ancient divine dragon. They have always been high and mighty. If you get involved with them, won't you? Don't worry, Mr. Gu. I'm just going to help them see a patient. Sima Yue said. Wulali didn't make things difficult for me. He only said that he would bring me there to take a look. Regardless of whether or not it worked, they would send me back. Wulali? The eldest prince of the Violet Water race? Su Jin asked. I think so. Sima Yue said. She didn't ask about Wulali's background. She only asked the steward for his name. The steward didn't say whether the other party was a prince or not. However, he did have the aura of a ruler. Alright, I'll allow it. I'll give you a year's time. You have to rush back within a year. Su Jin said, Alright, you can go. Sima Yue didn't think that Su Jin would agree to her request after hearing Wulali's name. She couldn't believe it at first, but after leaving the vice principal's courtyard, she realized that Su Jin had given her a month's leave. Old Su? Gu Lang waited for Sima Yue to leave before glancing at Su Jin. He obviously didn't agree with his actions. I've heard of Wulali before. He's one of the more principled spirit beasts. Since he promised to send her back, he won't go back on his word. Su Jin said, furthermore, if she can form a good relationship with the Violet Water clan, it will be beneficial for her in the future. Are you not anxious for her safety? Said Glenn. She came back safely after going to the Devil World. Although the Ninth Star Ocean is dangerous, it's still not as dangerous as the Devil World. Su Jin said, furthermore, she went to the Violet Water clan. As long as she doesn't wander around the Ninth Star Ocean, there shouldn't be a problem. As he spoke, he stretched lazily and said, It's late. It's time to go back and sleep. Olgu, you've disturbed me. You have to compensate me in the future, okay? Alright, you can leave. Glenn was too lazy to pay attention to him. Why do I have the feeling that I'm being ignored after this? Su Jin said. It's not an illusion. You can leave. Glenn said. Alright, so heartless. Su Jin snorted and left the courtyard. Sima Yue went to find Wu Lingyu. She saw him cooling off in the courtyard. She didn't seem to have seen him cultivate before. How could he be so strong? Senior brother, I have something to tell you. Sima Yue walked over and took out a chair to sit at the side. I have something to tell you as well. Wu Lingyu said, Tell me about yourself first. I've asked the academy for a year's leave. Sima Yue said, I want to go to the Ninth Star Ocean. The vice principal told me just now. Wu Lingyu was not surprised. She was the one who was surprised. The vice dean had passed the news to him so quickly? What about you, senior brother? What do you want to say? She asked. I'm leaving the academy. Wu Lingyu said. Leaving? Where are you going? Wu Lingyu sat up and said, I came here to accompany you. Now that you're going to the inner sect, I can't go in. So there's no point in staying here. Coincidentally, the Sage Pavilion has some matters for me to settle. So I'll go back to the Sage Pavilion first. Those old guys in the Spirit Pagoda are still strong. As long as you don't offend too big a power, there shouldn't be any problems. So I won't be accompanying you this time. Sima Yue nodded. If you have something to do, go do it. I'll teach you how to set up this enchantment. In the future, when you enter the inner sect, set up your own enchantment. Those old guys won't find out. This enchantment is so powerful? Even those old guys can be fooled? Of course. This is an ancient enchantment that I learned from the Sage Pavilion. How can it be compared to an ordinary enchantment? Wu Lingyu said, This isn't difficult. I'll teach you. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. You'll have to keep in touch when you learn it. Then you'll be able to set up enchantments as you wish. I got it. Then let's begin. Thus the two of them spent the night learning. On the morning of the second day, Wu Lingyu went out, saying that he was going to find the vice principal. When Sima Yue was almost done learning the enchantment, he came back from outside. Take this. If you run into any trouble in the Ninth Star Ocean, take this to the Xuanyu clan. Wu Lingyu took out something that looked like a starfish and placed it in her hand. Remember, you're not alone. If there's anything, remember to look for me or the Divine Devil Valley. If not, look for those little birds. Don't put yourself in danger, understand? Sima Yue nodded. Go to the central region early. Those guys are already extremely curious about you. I'll go after I finish my studies. I'm leaving. Remember to inform me if there's anything. You know how to find me now, right? I know. Hurry up and go. Wu Lingyu saw that she didn't miss him at all. He sighed in his heart and pulled her into his embrace. Then he lowered his head and kissed her lightly on the lips. Then before she could react, he let go of her. When I'm not around, you can't get too close to other men. Even if it's a male spirit beast. Wu Lingyu warned. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. She could only give him this for kissing her when she wasn't paying attention. Wu Lingyu saw that she wasn't as angry as before. He was in a good mood and walked in through the space tunnel. Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn green, classic simple, elegant, red powder, aristocratic, family, red talk, thick sea, vast sky, broken heart, past, snow, white world, gray world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 607. Bei Gong Tang and the others didn't expect her to leave so soon. She had even applied for leave. Fatty, I'm sorry. I can't stay to watch the selection. You guys have to do your best. Sima Yue said with a smile. We will. Fatty Chu said seriously. We'll wait for you in the inner courtyard. All right. I'll come back to bring you the things from the Ninth Star Ocean. Sima Yue said. After saying goodbye to them, Sima Yue went back home and told Sima Lai about leaving. Although Sima Lai was worried, he couldn't stop her. When she arrived at Shenyuan Pavilion, it was almost evening. If you didn't come, I would have thought that our deal was off. Wu Lali said. I always keep my word. Sima Yue replied. When are we leaving? Now. Once Wu Lali finished speaking, he opened a spatial tunnel and let her in. When Sima Yue came out, they were in a primitive forest. This shouldn't be the Ninth Star Ocean, right? Sima Yue said as she looked at the towering trees. No, but this place isn't far from the Ninth Star Ocean. Wu Lali said. After passing through this forest, we'll reach it after passing through a mountain. What are we doing here? Waiting for someone. Wu Lali sat down on a rock. Sima Yue saw that there were many medicinal ingredients around. Some of them weren't in the spirit pagoda. Thinking that she had nothing to do, she took out her tools and started digging. You really don't waste anything at all. Wu Lali ridiculed. It's not that, but at least it won't be wasted. Sima Yue dug up a medicinal ingredient and threw it into the spirit pagoda without even shaking the soil. These medicinal ingredients can be seen everywhere. There's nothing rare about them. In the eyes of alchemists, even the most ordinary medicinal ingredients are treasures. Sima Yue continued digging for medicinal ingredients to pass the time. Stepping on the medicinal ingredients, she dug out an empty space and found that there were a few ores buried in the soil. What's wrong? Wu Lali asked when he saw her stop. Child Wula, have you been here before? Sima Yue asked. Now what's wrong? It's nothing. Sima Yue looked at the ores buried in the soil. From the state of the soil, these ores had been here for some time. She wondered who had left them here. Wu Lali walked over and was surprised to see the ores. There are actually ores here? How rare. Didn't you say there was a mountain range over there? Maybe there is a mine there. Sima Yue said. I won't. The Seeker Spirit Master has already searched the mountain range, but there is no mine. Wu Lali said. Perhaps someone left these here a long time ago. Perhaps. Sima Yue did not express her opinion. She carefully dug out a piece of ore and cleaned the soil on it. A grayish-white stone appeared in front of the two of them. When she saw the patterns on the ore, she was shocked. Looking at your eyes, there is something good in this ore? Wu Lali said confidently. Although he was not human, he was very familiar with humans. He had been walking around the continent for many years and had seen many ores. I can't be sure if it is good, but there is definitely something inside. Sima Yue did not speak too confidently. You are also a Seeker Spirit Master? Wu Lali raised his eyebrows. Sort of. Sima Yue said. There is a total of 11 pieces here. Because I found it, I will give you 5 and I will take 6. You can choose first, but you can't go back on your choice. You want me to cheat? Wu Lali said. Up to you. Sima Yue shrugged her shoulders. In front of a strong person, it was better to make things clear. Wulali smiled. These are all for you. I'm not interested in these things. Sima Yue did not expect him to reject her so directly. Don't you spirit beasts absorb the spiritual energy in rare spirit stones to increase your strength? Very little. Wulali said. The spirit beasts have their own methods of cultivation. Very few people change their cultivation methods. But you humans, if you find a rare spirit stone, you can greatly increase your strength. You really don't want it? She raised her head to look at him. Seeing that his eyes were still clear, she smiled and said, You are the one who doesn't want it. Don't regret it later. If you ask me for it again, I will not give it to you. Up to you. Sima Yue was sure that he did not want it. She happily went to dig the ores. According to what she had learned, these 11 ores were definitely rare. If she could find 1 or 2 of them, she might be able to level up. Very quickly, she dug out the remaining 10 ores. When she finished cleaning the last ore, she walked to Wulali's side in satisfaction and asked, Who are we waiting for? How much longer? If it is too long, I will go to a place further away to dig for herbs. Other than this area, the other places are very dangerous. If you are not afraid, you can go. Wulali opened his eyes and said, I then forget it. Sima Yue shrunk her neck. She was so weak now. She did not want to joke around with her own life. Thinking about her own strength, she could not help but sigh. In this year of learning and cultivation, not only did she level up to the Divine King stage, she even touched the threshold of Divine Overlord. If she had enough spiritual energy, leveling up would not be a problem. Little Roar was right. Because she had leveled up before, she did not have any obstacles in leveling up. As long as she had enough spiritual energy, it would be fine. They waited in the forest for 2 days before 2 men came to find them. Seeing them shake their heads, Wulali's gaze dimmed. Looking at Sima Yue, he said, Prepare to return to the Dragon Palace. The 2 words Dragon Palace made Sima Yue's body tremble. Ever since her past life, she had a special yearning for dragons. She liked the dragon's totem and loved the legends of dragons. Later on, she became Shimin Yu and had always been deeply curious about the dragon clan. It was just that she had died before she could reach the Nine-Star Ocean. Now that she heard that they were going to return to the Dragon Palace, she was extremely curious. She did not know what was the difference between this Dragon Palace and the one she saw on television. Wulali took out a pearl the size of a longan and handed it to her. This is a water avoidance pearl. You will be able to breathe freely in the water. The 2 bodyguards were stunned when they saw Wulali take out the water avoidance pearl. One of them wanted to say something but was stopped by the other. Sima Yue was thinking about what to do when she went underwater. She did not expect Wulali to have already thought of it for her. She took the water avoidance pearl and ate it without hesitation. Varmediev _pub equals Lizin 7T _1039061. Varmediev __ equals 950. Varmediev _ height equals 90. Chapter 608. Wulali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward. She did not seem to have her guard up against him. He was secretly delighted. Well, he asked. Sima Yue felt it carefully. Other than feeling a little choked when she ate it just now, she did not feel anything else. There's nothing unusual, she answered honestly. You'll feel it when you're underwater. Wulal laughed. Let's go. We'll go down now. Can't we use the space tunnel? Sima Yue followed him. The underwater pressure is different, so the spatial channel's positioning is not accurate. Oh. The 2 of them gradually walked away, but the 2 guards were still in the same place. His Highness actually gave the water avoidance pearl to that human? Didn't you see it? But that's the water avoidance pearl. Why would His Highness let her eat such a precious water-repelling pearl? Shouldn't you just give her a red water-repelling pearl? The water prevention pearl that Sima Yue ate was emerald blue. After eating it, it would stay in her body and she would be able to breathe freely in water. The red water prevention pearl was temporary and could only stay in her body for a month. After a month it would lose its effect. Red water avoidance pearls were not rare, but blue water avoidance pearls were very rare. There were only a few of them in the entire seabed. His Highness seems to treat her differently. What do you mean by somewhat special? It's very special. Look, His Highness is smiling at her. When did His Highness ever smile at us? Could it be that your Highness likes her? It can't be. He's a man even though he's a little feminine. So what if he's a man? There are plenty of men who like other men. But I've never seen Her Highness like a man before. The past is the past and the present is the present. Just because His Highness didn't like it before doesn't mean he doesn't like it now. Perhaps it just so happened to prove the human saying, she doesn't like you because she likes men, but because she likes you and you are a man. Oh, what romantic words. If you go into heat again, His Highness will definitely reward you with an intact corpse. After saying that, the guard left first. The remaining guard shouted and chased after him. They passed through the woods and over the mountains and saw the vast sea. Ah, the sea, it's all water. Spiders, it's all legs. She faced the sea and opened her arms wide. Wu Lali looked puzzled. Cough cough, this is something I heard before. Sima Yu said awkwardly, are we going down now? Wu Lali suddenly grabbed her waist and flew into the sky. Then he plunged into the water. Before Sima Yu entered the water, she subconsciously closed her eyes and mouth. The moment she entered the water, she felt that her body was completely surrounded. A huge force pressed down on her, but it stopped around her body. She opened her eyes and found that there was a layer of membrane around her body. This time, the membrane isolated her from the water and ensured that she could breathe smoothly without being squeezed by the strong pressure. Is this the effect of the water avoidance pearl? She asked happily. Yes. Wu Lali said, we can breathe freely underwater, but you humans can't. With this, you'll be able to breathe underwater just like on land. This thing must be very precious, yet he gave it to her. Let's go. We might run into some trouble on the way. In order to speed up, I'll have to trouble you. Wu Lali said. Without waiting for her to react, he turned into a purple dragon. This dragon was not as majestic as the one in the totem in her previous life, but it still made Yoyue's eyes light up. She originally thought that he would let her ride him back, but reality proved that she thought too much. Wu Lali's huge claws grabbed her, and then he swam forward at lightning speed. Oh my god, this is faster than a cruise ship. She put her hands on Wu Lali's claws and looked at the underwater world excitedly. Wu Lali looked down and saw her excited little face. He swung his tail and increased his speed to the maximum. They traveled for a few days. They passed by a few clans. Those clans felt Wu Lali's aura and avoided him. We're almost there. Wu Lali said. We're lucky this time. We didn't meet any enemies. You have enemies? Sima Yue asked. There's always someone you don't like in this world. Some old grudges are passed down from our ancestors. Wu Lali said. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. Who didn't have enemies in this world? After traveling for half a day, they finally reached the Violet Water Clan's territory. Sima Yue saw that wherever Wu Lali swam, the water dragons under the water raised their heads and bowed to him. Wu Lali brought Sima Yue to an underwater palace before stopping. He released his claws and let Sima Yue go before transforming into his human form. Your Highness, you're back. The guard bowed to Wu Lali. Where's father? Wu Lali asked. The king is with the queen. The guard said. Wu Lali stopped in his tracks and turned to walk in another direction. Come with me. I'll bring you over to take a look. Your Highness. An old man walked out of the palace. He didn't have a beard, but he had 2 strands of beard. Prime Minister. The crown prince was very respectful to this old man. His tone was different from his. Your Highness, are you going to see the queen? The Prime Minister asked. Yes. I found a doctor. I'll bring her to father and mother. Wu Lali said. The king said last time that humans are not allowed to step into the palace. If you bring her over, I'm afraid you'll anger the king. The Prime Minister said. I'll convince father. Does the Prime Minister want to come with us? Wu Lali didn't care about the question. I'll go with you. If the king gets angry, I can help you. The Prime Minister said worriedly. Sima Yue looked at him and laughed. She then looked at Wu Lali and said, You didn't tell me that your father hates humans so much. We've brought a few human alchemists and doctors before, but they didn't cure her. Instead, they made her condition worse. The last time she almost died, so my father forbade us from bringing humans. Wu Lali said. What, are you scared? There's no use being scared. The arrow is already knocked on the bow. And I believe that since you called me here, you won't let me die here. Sima Yue said. You're still so confident. Wu Lali said with a smile. It wasn't that he hadn't seen confident people before, but it was rare to see someone so confident that he didn't hate them. That, you go in first. I'll wait for you outside. Sima Yue said. What? Go in first and give your father a warning. Otherwise, I'm afraid that he'll kill me the moment he sees me. When that happens you won't be able to stop him. Sima Yue said. Those old monsters were terrifyingly powerful. For her own life, it was better for her to wait outside. Chapter 609. Wu Lali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward with her request. He thought for a moment and nodded. Okay, you wait outside. Prime Minister, come with me. By the way, who's the injured one? She asked. She is my Empress mother. Wu Lali said, my father and mother have a very good relationship. That's why he did everything he could to save my mother's life after she was injured. But that's all. For so many years, my mother has been lying on the crystal bed, unable to speak or open her eyes. She's like a living dead. Toward the end, Wu Lali's voice became gloomy. He was in a bad mood. In order to save mother, our clan spent a lot of energy, and we didn't even care about the outside world. Our clansmen are eager to make a move against us, but father is not in the mood to care. Wu Lali continued, and I spent most of my time on the continent looking for a way to cure my mother, so I rarely took care of the clan's affairs. Fortunately, my second brother has propped up the Violet Water clan, allowing us to search for those things outside. You must all love your mother very much. Sima Yue said, then who told you about the Nirvana pill? There was once an alchemist who came here to see my mother. He said that he had no other way. Unless he could find the Nirvana pill, my mother would not wake up. Even if someone can save her, she will become a cripple. Wu Lali said, at first we didn't pay much attention to it, but later on, all the people we invited were helpless. My imperial father remembered the pill recipe left behind by that person, and sent people to search for those medicinal ingredients. That person should also have some skills, because ordinary people didn't know about the existence of the Nirvana Dan. Not only did that person know about it, he also took out the pill recipe. Presumably he was also a grandmaster of the continent. Do you still remember that alchemist's name and identity? Sima Yue asked. I remember, it's the Demon Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley. When I went to the mainland I heard his name and went to the Divine Devil Valley to look for him. At that time, in order to enter the Divine Devil Valley, I almost destroyed their mountain gate. Later on, he had to compensate a lot of things before the matter was settled. It wasn't a big deal at first, but that old man devil said a lot. In the end, he insisted on paying for it before coming with me. Wu Lali said. Seeing that Sima Yue's expression was getting weirder, he asked, what's wrong? That old man devil is actually my master. Sima Yue said. He's your master? Are you from the Divine Devil Valley? Then why are you at the Sky Heaven School? Wu Lali asked curiously. I'm from the Divine Devil Valley, but I'm a disciple that my master took in outside. I haven't been to the Divine Devil Valley yet. Sima Yue said. That Demon Valley Lord is considered the most powerful person among the people he found. However, he only managed to alleviate my mother's pain and did not manage to wake her up. Furthermore, his efforts were ruined by the last human alchemist. Wu Lali's evaluation of Old Man Devil was quite high. I hope to see the student surpass the master. My master's specialty isn't healing people but alchemy. Sima Yue said, if you give him ingredients to refine pills, he definitely won't have a problem. However, when it comes to medicine he might not be able to do it. As for me, my medical skills are more profound. Even if I cure your imperial mother, it won't be a case of the student surpassing the master. Wu Lali stared at her indifferent face and said, your master took in a good disciple. Thank you, your highness, for your praise. Sima Yue smiled. While they were talking they arrived at another palace. There were fewer people here, but Sima Yue could feel the pressure coming from many places. It's here. Wu Lali said, I'll go in and tell my father. Prime Minister, you stay here and accompany him. Your highness, let me go in with you. The Prime Minister was worried. What if the king got angry and hurt him? The king's temper had been getting worse over the years. No one dared to imagine what would happen if the queen really went. You stay here and accompany Yue. Wu Lali said, I'll talk to my father. Nothing will happen. However, Yue is a human. I'm worried about you. All right. The Prime Minister said, Your Highness, the king has been getting more and more agitated in the years you weren't here. It's best if you don't provoke him. I understand. Wu Lali turned and went in. Sima Yue and the Prime Minister waited outside. Seeing the strange stones, she felt like she was in a dream and wanted to go over and touch them. It's best if you don't go over. The Prime Minister said. What? There are traps everywhere. If not, there are strong guards. If you wander around and get killed by them, it won't be worth it. The Prime Minister explained. Sima Yu followed his gaze and saw a little snake that was about the same size as Little Golden on a rock. Looking at the color, it should be a purple water dragon in disguise. Prime Minister, do all your clansmen hate humans? Yes, because not only did they not cure the queen, they even made her condition worse. The Prime Minister's expression was full of hatred. It seemed like he didn't have a good impression of humans. He didn't kill her immediately because she was someone Wu Lali had brought back. At this moment, inside the palace, Wu Lali and his father Wu Lamai were staring at each other coldly. I said before that humans are not allowed to take a single step into this place. Are you ignoring my words? Wu Lamai's face was full of anger. His hand trembled as he pointed at Wu Lali. Father, you can't just kill everyone. Wu Lali said, there are good people and bad people among humans. There are capable people and quacks. That human made mother's condition worse, but that doesn't mean that all humans are the same. Imperial Father, look at Imperial Mother. She has been lying here for decades, and her situation is only getting worse. We don't know how long she can last even with the crystal bed. Then there's no need for a human to treat her. Wu Lali scolded, you randomly found a human. What if your mother's condition worsened? But Imperial Father, do you want Imperial Mother to lie here for the rest of her life? She can't speak, she can't laugh. What's the difference between being alive and being dead? Mother is such a warm person. She likes to play, laugh, and talk with everyone. Now that she's like this, she might think that she's suffering and would rather die. Bastard. Wu Lamai slapped Wu La, sending him flying. He hit the palace wall and fell to the ground. Angry? Wu Lali crawled up from the ground and said, Father, you're really selfish. You know that mother isn't happy, but you still want her to stay. You want to save her. We all want to save her. But now that you have a chance, you won't let her try because of your own likes and dislikes. Father, do you really love mother? Chapter 610. How could I not love her? The person I love the most in my life is your mother. You know how much effort I put into making her come back to life. Now you're saying this. Are you trying to anger me to death? Wu Lali glared at Wu Lali. You're wrong, Father. True love is not selfishness like you. You don't ask for mother's opinion. Wu Lali met his gaze. Father, you should think about it. Would mother rather lie here for the rest of her life, or let a human come in and try? After he finished speaking, the two of them fell silent. Mother? Wu Lali suddenly ran to the crystal bed and said excitedly, Father, mother is still conscious. She's crying. Wu Lamai turned around and looked at the tears that were different from the seawater. He closed his eyes and struggled for a while before saying, Go and bring that person here to try. Wu Lali's eyes flashed with joy as he hurried out. Yue, I've already said it. Go in and take a look at my mother. You're not injured, are you? Sima Yue asked. Chem? We heard it just now. There were banging sounds coming from inside. Sima Yue said. I'm fine. Go and take a look at my mother. She seemed to be quite emotional just now. She even cried. This is the first time she's been emotional in the past few decades. Wu Lali pulled her inside. The first thing Sima Yue saw when she entered was a domineering man dressed in purple. Needless to say, he was the king of the Violet Water clan. In front of him, a beautiful woman was lying quietly on a crystal bed. Her hands were crossed over her abdomen. She looked like she was sleeping peacefully. Father, I've brought the person. Wu Lali said. Wu Lamai turned around and saw Sima Yue. He didn't expect her to be so young. He thought that Wu Lali had found a virtuous and respectable master. Come and take a look. He moved to the side and let Sima Yue examine the woman. Sima Yue walked over and sighed in her heart. It was a good thing she was in human form. Otherwise, she would go crazy trying to take a spirit beast's pulse. His meridians have been completely severed, his spiritual energy has dissipated, his spiritual pool has been destroyed, and all his internal organs have been shattered. No wonder Master said that without the Nirvana pill there is no hope. After she finished examining the woman's condition, she thought to herself, how is it? Can my mother still be saved? Wu Lali asked anxiously. Her condition is even worse than what you said. Aside from the problems with her meridians and internal organs, even her divine sense has been injured. Moreover, because she has been injured for so long, those injuries have become chronic. I have to treat it before I can give you a reply. Sima Yue continued, if the situation is good, it's not like there's no hope. But if she doesn't respond to my experimental treatment, then I can only continue to look for Nirvana pills. Are you saying that you might be able to cure my mother? Your Highness, as I said, it depends on her physical condition. Sima Yue said. How long will that experimental treatment take? Wu Lamai asked. 10 days, Sima Yue answered. Then I'll give you 10 days. Send a servant girl over, I need her to do something. Sima Yue said, also I need to take off her clothes? No. She was interrupted by Wu Lamai before she could finish. I need to perform acupuncture. Sima Yue said. How can the Violet Water Clan's queen be seen by another man? Definitely not. Wu Lamai refused. Father, she is a woman. Wu Lali hurriedly pulled Wu Lamai back and said. Wu Lamai was puzzled. Sima Yue was shocked. How do you know? The feeling when you grabbed my hand before, it wasn't a man's hand. Wu Lali explained. There was such a way to differentiate? It seemed that she shouldn't casually grab other people's hands in the future. You're really a woman? Wu Lamai couldn't believe it. If she was a woman, how could he not tell? Sima Yue turned the button on the ring, and she instantly returned to her female appearance. Although she still had the same hairstyle and clothes, it was easy to tell, especially the small mounds in front of her chest. Is the king willing to do it now? She said, fortunately she's still in her human form so I can perform acupuncture. Otherwise it would be more troublesome to save her. Of course if you're not willing I can only use a more conservative method. Since you're a woman then perform the acupuncture. Wu Lamai said, but I want to be there the entire time. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was his territory and she was his wife. She should just listen to him obediently, especially since this big boss had a deep prejudice against humans. In the end she took a screen and symbolically blocked the bed. Anyway, this little thing was useless to Wu Lamai. She asked the servant girl to take off the queen's clothes and gave her 2 pills. Then she began the acupuncture. Then she would perform the acupuncture once every other day. This went on for 5 times. Wu Lamai didn't leave the room these days. When Sima Yue performed the acupuncture he watched from the side. He saw the queen's complexion slowly improve. As the son, Wu Lali didn't receive such good treatment. He was only allowed to enter when the 10 days were up. He was accompanied by another man who looked very similar to him. Yue, how's my mother's condition? Wu Lali asked as soon as he entered. Her condition is not bad. At least it's better than the worst case scenario. Sima Yue replied. That means that mother can be saved? I will do my best to wake her up. Sima Yue said, but I need some herbs and a place to refine pills. Otherwise I can only go to the mainland to refine pills. A place to refine pills? Can't you do it here? It's not that you can't, but at least you need a space without water. Otherwise this pill can't be refined. Sima Yue explained, I will continue to perform acupuncture for the queen during this period of time. Quickly send me the herbs that I lack. Tell us what herbs you need first. We'll go look for them. Wu Lali said. Paper couldn't be used in water. She took out a sound stone and listed the herbs she needed. Then she passed the sound stone to Wu Lali. Take this to the Divine Devil Valley and look for my master. Oh, he's probably not around. Then find someone else to try. If the Divine Devil Valley doesn't have these herbs, you can go elsewhere to look for them. Okay. Wu Lali kept the sound stone. Alright, you better gather all these herbs within 3 months. Sima Yue said, the latest is 4 months. Otherwise all these months of hard work will go to waste. Bring more people with you. Bring more things from the storeroom as well. Just in case we need them. Wu Lamai instructed, no matter what, you must gather all the medicinal ingredients and bring them back within 3 months. Chapter 6:11. On this day the Valley Lord was studying a formation when a disciple came to report that Wu Lali had come again but was blocked outside by their new formation. Thinking of the destruction Wu Lali had caused to them last time, the gatekeeper immediately came to report to the Valley Lord. Wu Lali is here? Could it be that they were looking for second brother again? Go and tell him that the second is not in the valley, said the Valley Lord. We've already told him. He said that he's not here to look for the Demon Valley Lord, the disciple replied. You're not looking for second brother? Did he say who he was looking for? He said he was looking for you, Valley Lord. Looking for me? The God Valley Lord put down his book. I don't know why he's looking for me. Bring him to the guest hall in the outer valley. I'll be right there. Yes, Valley Lord. After the disciples left, the Valley Lord kept the items and slowly walked towards the outer valley. Wu Lali was led through the array outside the valley to the guest hall. He was then served tea and told to wait. After a while, the Valley Lord walked in. "What brings your highness to my divine Devil Valley today?" Wulalli stood up and said, "Li came this time to ask for a favor. I wonder if there's anything your highness needs our help with?" The divine Devil Valley saw that Wulalli was still considered polite, so their prejudice towards him lessened. Wulalli took out a sound stone and gave it to the Valley Lord. The Valley Lord will know when he hears this. The God Valley Lord took the sound stone and inserted his spiritual energy into it. Sima Yuyue's voice could be heard from it. "Master, I'm currently with the Violet Water clan, treating their queen's injuries. I need some herbs now. Can you help me see if there are any in the valley? Purple sand, red heart grass. I can only maintain them for 3 to 4 months at most, so I have to prepare them during this time. Master, you have to help me prepare it and then let His Highness bring it back. I'm sure His Highness will pay you well. Master, you have to hurry up." Sima Yuyue's voice stopped here. When the Valley Lord heard her list of medicinal herbs, he was thinking about what he should get back. The Violet Water clan had many treasures. "Valley Lord, Yue said that her master might not be in the valley, so she asked me to find you." Wulalli said, "We asked the Valley Lord to help us gather these ingredients. Just as Yue said, we will give you sufficient compensation." The God Valley Lord tapped his index finger on the table and thought for a while, then said, "Rewards and whatnot can be discussed later. We will definitely find a way to gather those herbs. Your Highness, please wait here for a while." "Thank you, Valley Lord," Wulalli said gratefully. The Valley Lord called a man in. "Valley Lord." The Valley Lord passed the sound stone to him, saying, "This is what the Junior Valley Master needs. Gather the herbs according to her request. See what we have in the valley first. If you don't have enough, go outside. You have to gather all the herbs inside." "Yes, Valley Lord." The man took the sound stone and left. "Isn't Yue studying in the outer regions? Why are you in the Ninth Star Ocean?" the Valley Lord asked. "It's like this." Wulalli told him about how he met Sima Yue in the outer regions and their deal. "I see. I also heard that her medical skills are not bad. Even Gulang is full of praises for her." The Valley Lord said, "I hope she can cure your mother." "I believe she can." Wulalli smiled. "In the past, those people who came to treat my mother were all useless. She only treated her for 10 days and my mother's condition improved greatly. So I believe she can definitely cure my mother. We will try our best to prepare the herbs as soon as possible so she can cure your mother. I will get someone to bring you to rest now. Sorry to trouble you, Valley Lord." "All right. You know that there are many arrays in our valley. If you want to walk around the valley, it's best to find someone to bring you around. Otherwise it will be troublesome if something happens," the Valley Lord said. Wulalli remembered the last time he barged into their array. He was a little embarrassed and nodded awkwardly, saying, "I'll remember." The Valley Lord called for someone. A disciple walked in and brought Wulalli away. "Master." Ing Bai Chuan came in from outside. "Bai Chuan, you're back. How's the investigation?" the Valley Lord asked. "I've already found some clues. Cloud Cave is indeed colluding with people from the inner regions. It's just that they are very careful. I haven't found out which power it is yet." Ing Bai Chuan said, "I asked them to stay and continue investigating. Thank you for your hard work. This is what a disciple should do." Ing Bai Chuan said, "Master, when I came back just now, I saw the people in the valley gathering herbs. Is Martial Ant back?" "No, it's Yue." The Valley Lord said, "She asked people to prepare some herbs. She said she needs them urgently." Yue came to the valley? Ing Bai Chuan missed that little fellow. He didn't know how much she had grown after so many years. She didn't come back. The Violet Water Clan's Great Highness came down with her sound stone. She said she needed some herbs to cure their queen and asked us to help prepare them. The Valley Lord replied, "That little fellow ran to the Ninth Star Ocean without a word. She's really brave." "She's in the Ninth Star Ocean?" Ing Bai Chuan was a little worried. That place is so dangerous. Why did she go there? She even went to the Violet Water Clan to cure their queen. Even Martial Ant couldn't cure her. Why did she get involved in this mess? "You're curious too, aren't you?" The Valley Lord smiled and said, "That little fellow is really brave. She dared to make a deal with Wulalli without knowing anything." However, Gulang said that her medical skills are not bad. She might really be able to cure the Violet Water Clan's queen. The Violet Water Clan is a big clan in the Ninth Star Ocean. The queen and king are deeply in love and are deeply loved by the clan. If she can be cured and be on good terms with the Violet Water Clan, It will be good for her and the Divine Devil Valley. But what if she can't be cured? Ying Baichuan was still worried. When Martial Ant came back, she said that the queen's injuries were too serious. Although she was hanging on by a crystal bed, she was already in a state of suspended animation. Yue is still so young. If this isn't handled well, she might not be able to walk out of the Violet Water clan. If second brother knows where his obedient disciple died, I'm afraid there will be chaos. The Valley Lord was a little worried. Master, I have an idea. 3 months later, Sima Yue had just finished the acupuncture for the queen and ordered the servant to dress her properly. She saw another servant come in and say that the king had summoned her. She went to the side hall and saw 2 humans in the main hall. She said in surprise, "Senior brother Ying? Why are you here? This is?" Chapter 6:12. Yue, this is my master. When Ying Baichuan saw that Sima Yue was still in good health, he felt less worried and introduced her to the Valley Lord. Greetings to the Valley Lord. Sima Yue bowed to the Valley Lord. You should call me Senior Uncle? The Valley Lord smiled. Sima Yue had heard from Wu Lingyu that Old Man Devil and the Valley Lord were martial brothers. According to seniority, she should call him Martial Uncle. Yue greets Martial Uncle. She bowed again. This Martial Uncle instantly brought the relationship between the two of them closer. Martial Uncle, Senior Brother Ying, why are you here? Sima Yue asked. We were worried that you wouldn't know the rules here and would anger them, so we came to supervise you. Ying Baichuan said. Sima Yue's heart warmed. They had followed Wu Lali here because they were worried about her safety. Yue, we've gathered all the ingredients. When do you need them? Wu Lali asked. The sooner the better. If possible, I'll go now. Sima Yue said. Big brother, you take care of the guest. I will bring her to the pill refining place. Wu Lalu said. All right. Yue, let's go. Wu Lalu said to Sima Yue. Wu Lalu was the second prince of the Violet Water tribe. He was the person in charge of the Violet Water tribe. In the past 3 months, his disgust and contempt for Sima Yue had turned into admiration. The two of them had become friends. Sima Yue bowed towards the God Valley Lord and Ying Baichuan before leaving with Wu Lalu. This is the first time the Valley Lord and Junior Valley Master have come to my Violet Water clan. I should have brought you around, but I'm worried about my mother right now. I'm afraid I might neglect you too. Wu Lali said. Since your highness is so worried, why don't we go to Yoyue's place to take a look? All right. When we're done here, I'll bring you around our tribe. Wu Lali said, follow me. Sima Yue followed Wu Lalu to an underwater mountain. There was a cave at the bottom of the mountain. This cave was different from other caves. But this cave was a cave. They followed the cave upstream until they reached the mouth of a cave. We're here. Wu Lalu went up first and Sima Yue followed him out of the cave. There's no water here. Sima Yue looked at the dry cave. It was hard to imagine that there was such a place in the underwater world. I accidentally discovered this when I was young. I don't know why, but the seawater doesn't spread here. Wu Lalu said, how about I refine pills here for you? I can. Sima Yue said, although the pressure is a bit high, refining pills shouldn't be a problem. Hua. Yue ba. Was Yue? Yue. We wanted to take a look too. How is this place? Wu Lali asked. Not bad. Yue is about to start. Wu Lalu said, we're just waiting for her to start. Sima Yue took out a huge table and placed all the herbs on it. Wu Lali and his brother were dumbfounded when they saw the small mountain of herbs. Do you humans need so many herbs to make pills? Wu Lalu asked. Normal pills don't need so many herbs. Yue is going to make a high-grade pill. That's why she needs so many. Ying Baichuan said. Last time at the Sky Heaven School, the talent she displayed shocked everyone present. It was because of her performance that I believed in her. Wu Lali recalled the scene at that time and felt very emotional. The Divine Valley Lord was happy. She was a member of the Divine Devil Valley. She would be envied by many powers. Sima Yue didn't care about their gazes. She was cleaning up the herbs and adapting to the high-pressure environment. She didn't want to fail. Furthermore, just in case, she also refined several other medicinal pills first so that she could completely integrate herself into this environment. She then started to refine the small origin pill. The small origin pill was similar to the Nirvana pill. It was just that it wasn't as heaven-defying as the Nirvana pill. But the small origin pill was enough for the Violet Water Queen. She cleaned up the herbs. The Divine Valley Lord was afraid that she would fail. He gathered 3 sets with great difficulty. Adding the one she already had, it was enough. The refining of the herbs went smoothly. But because of a small mistake during the first fusion, the entire herb was wasted. Sima Yue didn't have any emotional fluctuations. She kept the dregs and cleaned the furnace. She ate 2 pills and sat cross-legged to recover her mental strength. She waited for her mental strength to recover before she started the second round. She was more careful this time. But she still failed at the last step. When she heard the sizzling sound from the furnace, she knew that the herbs were wasted again. She stood in front of the last set of herbs. This time she wasn't in a hurry to start. Instead, she thought about the previous 2 rounds of refining in her mind. Wuxia and the rest had been watching her for the past few days. They saw that she had wasted 2 of the 3 sets of herbs. If she still couldn't succeed this time, their hope would be extinguished. Master, Yue seems to be refining a 7th grade pill, right? Ying Baichuan asked uncertainly. It should be. The Divine Valley Lord's heart raced the moment she started refining. He was even more nervous than the Wuxia brothers. If she succeeded, she would be a 7th grade alchemist. Such a young 7th grade alchemist. Many people would be envious of her. Sima Yue closed her eyes and meditated. She seemed to have entered a state of emptiness. Every extraction of the herbs, every fusion step, and the final pill condensation step by step. It was as if there was a small person playing out the steps in her mind. After a long time, she opened her eyes. Her eyes were clear. She came to the table and started refining again. The Divine Valley Lord looked at her unhurried expression and nodded in satisfaction. She could still be so calm under such pressure. This wasn't something an ordinary person could have. It was rare for her to have such a calm temperament at such a young age. Sima Yue refined step by step. She didn't think about anything else. Her eyes and mind were only focused on refining the pill. Extraction, fusion, pill condensation. Every step was steady. The temperature, the intensity of the fire, every detail was controlled. Bang, bang. Just when they thought that the pill condensation was successful, the sound of a collision came from the furnace. Wuxia and Wuxia's expressions changed. They exclaimed, "Did she fail this time too?" Not only were the 2 brothers disappointed, the Divine Valley Lord and Ying Baichuan's expressions became strange. Chapter 613. Master? Ying Baichuan turned to look at the Valley Lord and saw that he had the same expression as him. He knew that he had the same thoughts as him. Not bad, not bad. Now that the second Lord knows, he'll be so happy. The Valley Lord said excitedly. Wuxia and Wuxiu were still immersed in their disappointment. Seeing the 2 of them so excited, their extinguished hope reappeared. Valley Lord, are you saying that she didn't fail? Wuxiu asked. Failed? No, she did not fail. She succeeded, and very successfully, said the Valley Lord. Success? But isn't there a sound coming from the pill furnace? Wuxiu was puzzled. Didn't that sound just now mean that he had failed? Why wasn't it the same this time? This is the sound of the pills colliding with each other in the pill furnace after they are formed. This is because the pills were refined too well and formed a pill tribulation. Pill tribulation? Wuxia was excited. He had spent a lot of time on the continent and had naturally heard of pill tribulations. Once pill tribulations appeared, the pills would be the best of the same grade. But we are not prepared for the pill tribulation. What if the lightning strikes her? Only she survived, said the Valley Lord. Aren't we going to help? Wuxia asked worriedly. It's useless even if we go. This pill tribulation only recognizes pills. Ying Baichuan said. Sima Yue opened the lid of the pill furnace. The moment she opened the lid, she grabbed the pill that was trying to fly away. Good girl, you can't run away. Otherwise, wouldn't my efforts be in vain? She grabbed the pill, and with a wave of her hand, she stored everything else in the cave into her spirit pagoda. Then she said to Wuxia, send me to the surface of the sea immediately. The surface of the sea? Yes, hurry up. If this pill tribulation did not strike the pill, it would accumulate in the air. It might have been a simple pill tribulation, but in the end it could evolve into a huge lightning tribulation. Furthermore, she was now at the bottom of the sea. The tribulation cloud had sensed the existence of the pill and was already brewing on the surface of the sea. If it couldn't find the target, it would wait until it was full before striking the bottom of the sea. Coupled with the conductivity of water, the spirit beasts at the bottom of the sea would suffer. Wuxia saw her anxious expression and did not hesitate. He took her out of the cave and swam towards the surface of the sea. By the time they reached the surface of the sea, a thick layer of dark clouds had gathered in the sky. There's a small island over there. Let's go there. Sima Yue looked at the small island not far away. She was really lucky. She went ashore alone and took out the pill. The tribulation cloud sensed the location of the pill and quickly floated over. Pa! A bolt of lightning struck her body, shattering the defensive layer that she had congealed around her body. Hiss! Sima Yue laid on the ground. She had already kept the pills into her spatial ring and was now the target of the pill tribulation. What a familiar pain. She grimaced. When she had advanced to the God realm, she had been struck by lightning for the first time. When Little Peng had advanced to the God realm, she had also advanced to the God realm and had been struck by lightning. When she had advanced to the God King realm, she had been in the academy. In order to avoid everyone, she had run deep into the mountains to advance and had been struck by lightning. She did not expect that a simple pill tribulation would become such a huge lightning tribulation. She tried her best to flip herself over and lay on the ground. She shouted at the tribulation cloud in the sky, "Hey brother, we've already fought so many times. Although I'm very grateful that you're able to replenish my lightning attribute, can you be magnanimous this time?" She did not expect that she would attract such a huge pill tribulation at this time. Hence, she had not made any preparations to go through the tribulation. When the lightning struck her body, it really hurt. The defensive layer that she had just congealed had been destroyed and she did not have the strength to set up another array. She could only take out the clothes and weapons that Fatty Chu had given her to protect her from the lightning and casually cover herself. After going through so many lightning tribulations, she had some understanding of the tribulation cloud. Looking at the extent of the lightning, it was not too big. At most, it would strike her half dead. As long as she did not die, her body would recover. The tribulation cloud seemed to have really heard her words. The second bolt of lightning did not strike, giving her some time to recover. Furthermore, the cloud seemed to be slowly thinning. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and looked at the tribulation cloud in disbelief. This fella couldn't have really understood her words, right? However, seeing that the lightning did not intend to strike, she took advantage of the gap and hurriedly took 2 pills and ate them. Pa! The second bolt of lightning struck, scorching her entire body. Then the tribulation cloud trembled and floated away like a victorious general. After the tribulation cloud dispersed, Wulali flew to the island. Seeing her completely unrecognizable, he thought of what she had said to the tribulation cloud and tried his best to control himself from laughing out loud. Sima Yue's body was burning with pain. Luckily, the pills she had eaten earlier had cooled her internal organs. She saw the smile in Wulali's eyes, but she could not do anything. She could only helplessly roll her eyes. "Can you move now?" Wulali asked. "I can blink once but not twice." Sima Yue quickly blinked twice. "Then I'll bring you back?" Blinked twice. "I can't move you?" Blinked once. "All right then, you can just lie here," Wulali said. Sima Yue saw that he did not intend to move her and sighed in relief. She began to guide the lightning she had absorbed back to her dantian. Wulali stayed by her side the whole time. After she had absorbed all the lightning, her body could move again. The scars on her body had also disappeared after the black shell had faded away. She looked at her skin that could be broken with a flick of a finger and could not help but sigh in her heart. This god-devil body was really good. She did not even have to bother to remove the scars. Wulali saw that Sima Yue had recovered so quickly and was very surprised. Even if magic beasts had strong recovery abilities, they would not be as fast as her. "Let's go, we're going back," Sima Yue said. Wulali transformed into his original form and brought her back to the Violet Water Tribe. "You're finally back." Wulalu saw the two of them and hurried forward. "Father has already asked for you a few times. If you didn't come back, he would have mobilized the tribe to look for you." Yue was struck by lightning and had to recuperate for 2 days. Wulali said, "Where's father?" "He's at mother's place. Let's hurry over." Sima Yue went to the side palace. After staying here for 3 months, she was quite familiar with the place. The moment she entered the palace, she saw the God Valley Lord and Ing Bai Chuan talking to the Violet Water King. "Yue, you're finally back. I heard that you've already refined the pill?" Wu Lamai looked at her eagerly. He did not believe her at first, but in these 3 months, he saw with his own eyes that the queen's condition was getting better and better. Although she had not woken up yet, she had regained some consciousness. Chapter 614. Book title, Queen Awakens. Author, After meeting Wu La Mai, Sima Yue went to the queen's palace. Wu La Mai and Wu Lali followed her. The God Valley Lord and Ying Bai Chuan were waiting outside. Sima Yue came to the queen's side and fed her the small origin pill. Then she took out the soul fluid and fed her 2 drops. After that, she also fed her the refined golden snake fruits essence. After half an hour, the violet water queen's tightly shut eyes finally moved. It was obvious that her eyeballs were rolling. Qing Man? Wu La Mai saw her reaction and called her name excitedly. The person on the bed slowly woke up, but her eyes were still unfocused. Qing Man, you're finally awake. Wu La Mai couldn't help but tear up when he saw his wife who had been sleeping for decades wake up. King? The violet water queen heard the familiar voice and looked at him. Her eyes slowly became spirited and focused. Mother. Wu Lali and Wu Lalu also came over. Looking at her loving eyes, they felt that all their efforts over the years were worth it. Luha. Violet Water Queen wanted to reach out and touch them, but she found that her body was not under her control. King, although the queen has woken up, she is still weak. Try not to let her speak or get agitated. Sima Yue reminded. My queen, you've been in a coma for so many years. Now that you've just woken up, it's normal for your body to be out of control. You'll be fine after you slowly recover. Violet Water Queen looked at Sima Yue and said with a smile, You're the child who cured me, right? I recognize your voice. Mother, you can still hear her voice? Wu La Lu said in surprise. Yes. The Violet Water Queen smiled and said, My consciousness can't remember anything after I was injured. It was as if I was in a dark environment. Until one day when I felt a trace of pain, I was able to hear sounds from the outside. I've been listening to you these past few days. You said that I could hear you every time you performed acupuncture on me. After that, listening to you became a habit of mine. Thank you for saving me. The queen is too polite. Sima Yue said, It is my honor to be able to cure such a great beauty like you. I still need to check your body now. I'll have to trouble you. Violet Water Queen said. Sima Yue walked over, grabbed her hand and examined it. She then put it down and said, The situation is better than expected. I will refine some pills for you later and perform acupuncture a few more times. Thank you, little friend Yue. If you lack anything, just tell them directly. Wu La Mai held Shui Qing Man's hand and said, I will. Sima Yue was in a good mood after the patient was cured. I won't disturb your family anymore. Remember not to tire the queen too much. I'll send you out. Wu Lali said. I have to go deal with some family matters as well. Mother, we will come back to see you again. Wu Lalu said. The 2 brothers tacitly walked out, leaving the king and queen alone. They walked out of the palace and saw 2 people anxiously waiting outside. Senior uncle, senior brother Ying. How is it? The queen has already woken up. She just needs to be treated a little more. Sima Yue said. You really cured the queen? Although this was an expected answer, but God Valley Lord still felt that it was unbelievable. If your master knew, he would definitely be very happy. All these years, he has never given up on finding a way to cure the Violet Water Queen. Since you've already cured the queen, when do you plan to go back? Ying Bai Chuan asked. Of course it's better to go back early. Sima Yue said, My brother's matter hasn't been settled and he hasn't reported to the inner court yet. When the queen's condition stabilizes, I will go back. It's good that you have a plan. Valley Lord said, Your Highness, we have some things to say to Yue. Can you? Of course. You guys go ahead. I also have some things to discuss with second brother. Let's go to the main hall first. Wu Lali said. After Wu Lali and Wu Lalu left, God Valley Lord said with a serious face, Yue Gulang said that you went to the inner court for the Eye of Earth? Master Gu? Sima Yue didn't think that Gulang would tell them the news. Gulang is from the Divine Devil Valley. Valley Lord explained. So that's why. Since he was from the Divine Devil Valley, he definitely knew her identity. It was normal for him to tell the Divine Devil Valley about her. Yes, I went for the Eye of Earth. Sima Yue said, I think Master Gu should have told you the reason. For my brother, I must get the Eye of Earth. Yue, do you know that the Eye of Earth is the treasure of the inner court? Ying Bai Chuan said. I know. I also know that it's not easy to get the Eye of Earth, but I have to try. Sima Yue said, and I heard that the Eye of Earth is very big and I only need a small piece of it. Since it's the treasure of the inner court, it must be guarded very tightly and even very dangerous. We received news that many people went for it but they never came back. Valley Lord said. We don't have to force our way in, there are still a few years, I think there will be a chance to get it. Sima Yue said, Senior Ing, have you been to the heavenly sect? I also graduated from the inner court. Ing Baichuan said, it's just that I didn't stay for long, and then I entered the Divine Devil Valley. Then do you know where else the Eye of Earth could be besides the Forbidden Area? The Eye of Earth isn't in the Forbidden Area? Ing Baichuan asked in surprise. Someone said that they went in but didn't see it. So they guessed that the Eye of Earth isn't in the Forbidden Area. Sima Yue said. Then I don't know. Ing Baichuan said, when I was in the inner court, the news of the Eye of Earth didn't spread, so I don't know and never paid attention to this matter. Maybe when that old man comes back you can go and find him, maybe he can give you some. Valley Lord said. Who's that old man? Sima Yue asked. Old Man Devil had asked her to say hello to that old man, and now her martial uncle was talking about him. She didn't know who it was that could make them call him old man. The dean of the school, Yuan Tianhe. Dean? I heard that he often goes out to wander and hasn't been back for a long time. Sima Yue said. Soon he should be back soon. Valley Lord said. How does martial uncle know? Valley Lord smiled as he patted her shoulder. For the first time in tens of thousands of years, a person who finished climbing the heavenly stairway has appeared. This news is enough for him to come back. I think the vice dean has already passed your news to him. He must have been delayed by something since he hasn't come back for so long. But with his strength, even if he was delayed, he should have solved it. That's why I said it would be soon. Chapter 6:15. Martial Uncle, you have a good relationship with Master and Principal Yuan, right? Sima Yue asked. Yes, when we were young we were just like you and your friends. However, we had an additional layer of relationship. We came from the same sect. After that, second brother and I became the Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley, while he became the Dean of the Academy. Right, according to seniority we should call him Uncle. The Valley Lord said. Then wouldn't he be Martial Granduncle? Sima Yue widened her eyes. The principal of the school was her senior uncle. She wondered if she could get in through the back door. The God Valley Lord shook his head and said, because he wanted to take over the position of headmaster, according to the requirements, he left the sect. The previous headmasters of the academy did not belong to any faction. This was a rule that had been passed down from generation to generation. It was to prevent the academy from becoming a vassal of a faction. However, this didn't affect their relationship in private. For example, although Old Man Devil and God Valley Lord and Yuan Tianhe weren't from the same sect, they still had a good relationship in private. Then, Sima Yue learned more about Yuan Tianhe, such as his hobbies and personality. Senior Uncle, is Master not in the valley? Sima Yue asked. Last time, after returning from the Bloody Passage, he said that he was going on a long trip and left. The Valley Lord said, I want to ask you, what did you say to him that made him run away without caring about anything? I just asked him if he knew Aunt Feng. Sima Yue said. Aunt Feng? Could it be Feng Ruyen? God Valley Lord asked in astonishment. Martial Uncle, do you know Aunt Feng? The Valley Lord shook his head. I only heard from your master when I was young that he once met a woman who helped him. She was very special to him. But after that he never saw her again. He couldn't let it go. Yue, how do you know her? And you're so close to her. Aunt Feng is not in good health. I have treated her before. Sima Yue briefly explained the matter. I once heard from your master that she was like this when he was still a child. I didn't think that she would still be like this after so many years. The Valley Lord said. Martial Uncle, from what you said, Master doesn't know Aunt Feng's identity. Then where is he going to find her? I wonder if Jun Song will tell him where Aunt Feng is. Sima Yue was worried about Old Man Devil. I don't think it's likely. The God Valley Lord said, since the other party hasn't sent out any news, it means that they are very secretive. Actually, what I'm most worried about is that he knows the news. What? Ing Baichuan asked. According to what Yue said, that Feng Ruyan's strength is so high, she definitely isn't someone from our side. If it's the inner region, it's still a peak existence. If your Uncle Master rashly runs off to search for it alone, I'm afraid he'll encounter danger. The God Valley Lord said. Can you contact Master now? Last time he sent back a message saying that we don't have to worry about him. But after we sent someone to send the message over, he didn't reply. The God Valley Lord said, your relationship with Shenyuan Pavilion is not normal now. If possible, you can ask about Feng Ruyan's identity so that we have a direction to look for him. Okay. Sima Yue nodded in response. In the next few days, Sima Yue healed the queen again. Perhaps it was because of the Violet Water tribe and the Divine Dragon's bloodline. Once her body started to circulate, her injuries healed very quickly. Queen, your body is almost fully recovered. Your strength has regressed a little. You can only cultivate again later. Sima Yue checked Shui Qingman's body and said, "This is already very good. If it wasn't for you, I would still be a living dead." Shui Manqing said, "As for my strength, it has only regressed by 2 small levels. It's much better than what I expected. Thank you, child." Sima Yue smiled and said to Wu Lamai, who was at the side, "King, since the queen's injuries have healed, then I should go back. Wait, we have a gift for you." Wu Lamai found Sima Yue very pleasing to the eye. Thinking about the queen's suggestion, he felt that it was not bad. "King, you don't have to be so polite. I came to save the queen because I had an agreement with the crown prince. He gave me the black sea cucumber and I will heal the queen. How can I accept your things now?" Sima Yue shook her head. She said, although she was indeed a little jealous of their collection, since they had already agreed on this matter, this was a separate matter. Shui Qingman smiled gently, "Child, I know you are a girl. I have always wanted a daughter. But Li Er and the other brothers are all boys. My wish of having a daughter has never been fulfilled. I have discussed with the king and want to acknowledge you as my daughter. Are you willing to acknowledge the spiritual beasts as your adoptive parents?" Acknowledge adoptive parents? Sima Yue was stunned. She had never thought about this before and could not react in time. Shui Qingman saw Sima Yue was stunned. The smile on her face froze. She said awkwardly, "Yes, how can a human be willing to acknowledge the beasts as her family? We were too rude." Sima Yue was not willing to see such a gentle woman sad. She held her hand and smiled, "Queen, I am not unwilling. It's just that this news is too sudden for me. I am so happy that I can't react in time. When I was a baby, I was sent to my grandfather by my father. Until now, I have never seen my parents. I also want a mother. You are so good to me. It is my fortune to be your daughter." "You don't mind that we are beasts?" Shui Qingman said. "What is the difference between beasts and humans?" "We are all creatures in this world," Sima Yue said. After Shui Qingman woke up, Sima Yue often chatted with her. Their relationship grew day by day. This was also the reason why she did not reject this suggestion. "Imperial Mother, I told you. You definitely wouldn't mind," Wu La Lu said from the side. "You know about this too?" Sima Yue looked at the 2 brothers. "Of course. When we knew that Mother had this idea, we were very happy." Wu La Lu smiled. "I didn't expect that we would have a human sister." "Indeed." Wu Lali nodded. "Have Kong and the rest returned?" Wu Lamai asked. "I have already told them that Mother has woken up." Wu La Lu said, "They are on their way back." Sima Yue knew that Wu Lali and the rest had a few brothers. They were also running around the continent to find a way to cure the queen. This family was rare among the beasts. Shui Qingman patted Sima Yue's hand and said, "I know you are in a hurry to leave. But you have to tell everyone that you have become our princess. You also have to meet your brothers. So stay here for a while before going back." Chapter 616. Sima Yue agreed to Shui Qingman's request and agreed to stay for a while to meet the brothers she had never met before. God Valley Lord and Ying Baichuan left after knowing that Wu Lamai had adopted Sima Yue as his daughter. They came here to ensure Sima Yue's safety as they were worried that the Violet Water clan would harm her. Now that they were a family, their worries were gone. Sima Yue and Wu Lali sent them to the surface of the sea and watched as God Valley Lord opened a space tunnel to leave before returning. Now that she was back, the clan members had to bow to her and respectfully call her princess. She was not used to it at first, but the clan members all did the same and she got used to it after a few days. Today she was called by Wu Lamai, Godfather, Godmother. She entered the main hall and saw Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman talking, so she bowed and greeted them. Following Shui Qingman's request, she wore female clothes in the clan grounds to make her look more feminine. She was wearing a pomegranate-colored dress with half of her hair tied up in a simple bun and the rest hanging behind her head. She looked beautiful and casual. "Yue, come here." Shui Qingman waved at Sima Yue. Sima Yue walked over and sat beside her. "What have you been doing these days? I haven't seen you for a few days." Shui Qingman said. I've refined some medicinal pills for you to completely recover your body. Sima Yue took out a jade bottle. There aren't many pills that the beasts can eat. Luckily there are many herbs in the treasure pavilion and I refined some that are useful for you. I also refined some normal pills that the beasts can eat. Usually when my contracted beasts are injured they eat these. I thought that when I'm not around you guys can eat these when you're injured. She waved her hand and a pile of jade bottles appeared in front of them. Now that her grade had increased, the speed of refining 6th grade pills had increased and the success rate had also increased. So looking at so many pills did not take too much time. Especially when she was alone, she refined them in the spirit pagoda, which saved her a lot of time. Wu La Mai and Shui Qing Man were astonished when they saw the pills. They had never seen so many pills before. The beast race had strong bodies and very fast self-healing abilities. The heavens were very kind to them. However, no matter how powerful the beast race was, none of them could learn how to refine pills or forge weapons. Only humans could. Therefore they had never seen so many pills before. These are all things that we can eat? Shui Qing Man asked excitedly. That's right. Beasts and humans have different requirements for pills. These are all specially made for you. Sima Yue said, although your bodies are very strong, it's still better to have pills. Especially when I heard from second brother that some races are eyeing us covetously, pills can help you a little. I'll refine some more in the future. It doesn't matter if you don't use them normally as long as you have them when you need them. People say that daughters are sweet little cotton-padded jackets and they're right. Look, you just became a princess not long ago and you're already thinking for us. Shui Qing Man touched Yue's hair lovingly and said, but don't tire yourself out. I know. Sima Yue smiled and said, oh right godfather, why did you call me over? Since it was refined by his daughter, Wu Lam I didn't stand on ceremony and kept the pills. Yes, I almost forgot about it because of your pills. He liked his human daughter more and more. She had a good personality, high talent and was sweet. He didn't expect his daughter to be so good. It made him want to have another daughter. If Sima Yue knew what he was thinking, she would be glad that she met them now. If she hadn't experienced the extermination of her clan in her previous life, her temperament would definitely be the same as before. But ever since she recalled the huge changes in her previous life, her temperament had undergone a huge change, becoming much calmer and more stable. Wu La Mai transformed into his original form and a purple dragon appeared in front of her. Didn't he have something to ask her? Why did he transform into his original form? She looked at Shui Qing Man suspiciously. Don't be anxious. Shui Qing Man comforted her. Sima Yue suppressed her curiosity and shifted her gaze to Wu La Mai. Wu La Mai walked around the palace and came to Sima Yue. His two long whiskers floated in the water, making her want to reach out and touch them. At this moment Wu La Mai's forehead became redder and redder. A drop of blood condensed there. That red blood had a faint purple tinge to it. That drop of blood floated in the water and Sima Yue smelled a faint fragrance. Yue, go over. Shui Qing Man said. Godmother, how can I do that? Sima Yue understood their intentions and cried out softly. Why not? Shui Qing Man said, you're our child now. What's wrong with giving you a drop of essence blood? If it wasn't for the fact that my abilities have deteriorated and my body hasn't fully recovered, I would have given you a drop too. But this will hurt Godfather too much. Sima Yue still shook her head. Essence blood gathered the power of a spirit beast. Although it was only a drop, it contained a huge amount of power. Especially for Wu La Mai, who had surpassed the sacred beast level, the power was even greater. It's just a drop of essence blood. Once you've absorbed it, you can refine some pills for him. Shui Qing Man said, since you're our child, you must have our blood in your body. It's alright, go. Shui Qing Man patted her shoulder and signaled her to go over. Sima Yue turned her head and looked at Wu La Mai. His huge eyes were filled with deep meaning and urging. She took a deep breath and walked to the drop of blood. Wu La Mai controlled the essence blood and slowly moved it towards Sima Yue's forehead and forced it in. The moment the essence blood entered her body, Sima Yue felt as if her forehead was being burned. It was a burning pain. We've checked on you. Your body's strength is much stronger than an average human. The power of this essence blood may cause you some pain, but if you can endure it, you will benefit a lot. Shui Qing Man said. I understand, Godmother. Sima Yue endured the pain but her face was still very pale. You can absorb the power of the essence blood here. No one will disturb you. The crystal bed is good for your absorption. Go up there. Shui Qing Man waved her hand and Sima Yue was pushed onto the crystal bed. At this moment she couldn't be bothered to say anything. She sat cross-legged and started to absorb the power of the essence blood. Wulamai transformed into his human form. Shui Qingman saw his pale face and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, King. If I didn't insist you wouldn't have to." "What nonsense are you saying? You like her so much and she's our goddaughter now. Give her a drop of essence blood and she will recover soon." Wulamai said, "I'm curious. How long will it take for her to completely absorb the power and how much power will she gain?" Chapter 617. Giving their essence blood to a human was something they had never done before. If you have already read this chapter, please move to read the latest chapter so I don't know what the final result will be. She seems to be in a lot of pain. Did we do the right thing? Shui Qingman looked at Sima Yue's pained expression and said worriedly, "I believe she'll be able to pull through." Wulamai said, "If she can endure it, her strength will increase, and the strength of her body will also increase, which will be beneficial to her. She is a tough girl. These pains will not hinder her growth. Instead, they will inspire her to move forward." "I hope so." Shui Qingman held his hand and said, "She's too weak now and has to do so many things. It's more convenient for her to raise her strength. But I didn't expect her to be in such pain." "You are doing this for her own good. She will understand," Wulamai said. "And, let me help you back to rest first," Shui Qingman said. "All right." The two of them left together, leaving Sima Yue in deep trouble. Wulali's essence blood began to flow through her body. Wherever it passed, her blood vessels felt as if they were being burned. The crystal bed beneath him emitted a bone-piercing cold. She used all of her spiritual energy to fight against the blood essence, trying her best to control it. But after trying for so long, it was all in vain. Her spiritual power was being consumed bit by bit. If she didn't control it and it exploded in her body, she wouldn't be lucky but unlucky. Fortunately, she was able to control the blood essence in the end. She used her spiritual power to envelop the blood essence and then began to refine and absorb it. There was only one drop of essence blood, but she could feel the power to destroy the heavens and the earth from it. At least for the current her, that was the case. Before she could absorb it, she had to refine the energy into her own, which took 3 months. In these 3 months, Shui Qingman and Wu Lali came to see her. They saw that her condition had stabilized and was no longer as scary as before. At the same time, there were 7 to 8 princes who followed Shui Qingman in. Seeing the human who had become their sister, they felt a little strange. However, they still thanked her for saving their mother. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Wu Lali and a young-looking human came to visit Sima Yue. They thought that she was still in seclusion, but they didn't expect to bump into the person who came out. "Yue, you've come out of seclusion?" Sima Yue's eyes flashed with joy when she saw Wu Lali. She grabbed his hand and said, "Quick, bring me to that island from before." Wu Lali knew that something must have happened to Sima Yue, which was why she was in such a hurry. Without saying a word, he transformed into his original form and swam towards the surface of the sea with her. "Big brother, wait for me." The brat who came with him saw them leaving in such a hurry and roared at them. He transformed into his original form and chased after them. The guard saw the 3 of them leave in the blink of an eye and said, "The princess has come out of seclusion. Quickly inform the queen." Wu Lali brought Sima Yue to the island from last time. Sima Yue looked around, found a wide beach and set up a formation. "Big brother, you're getting faster and faster." The man from before chased after them. When he saw Sima Yue throwing stones on the ground, he asked curiously, "Little sister, what are you doing?" Little sister was what they called her. "Setting up a formation," Wu Lali said. "Isn't she an alchemist? Why does she know how to set up formations?" Wu Lashio asked. "I think that she's both an alchemist and a formation master." Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue. He felt that she had secrets that he didn't know. Sima Yue finished setting up the formation and walked over. "Little sister, I'm your 9th brother, Wu Lashio." Wu Lashio introduced himself first. "Hello, 9th brother." Sima Yue smiled at him, then said to them, "You guys should leave this place quickly." "What are you doing here? Setting up a formation? Are you an alchemist?" Wu Lashio was very curious about his human god sister and asked a series of questions. "I'll tell you about this later. You guys should leave first," Sima Yue said. "What?" Wu Lashio asked. Looking at his expression, it seemed like he wouldn't leave if she didn't tell him. "I'm about to advance," Sima Yue said. Advancing is a good thing. But isn't it a taboo to be interrupted? We will follow you now and protect you from being interrupted by those who don't have eyes. Wuxia said, although this is our territory, people from other clans will secretly come here to gather information. 2 days ago, second brother said that there are some people who aren't behaving themselves. If they send people over, you'll be in trouble. Thank you for your kindness, ninth brother. But my advancement is different from others. I'm not afraid of people interrupting me. Sima Yu said. What's the difference? Sima Yu saw how he wanted to get to the bottom of things inside. Did the youngest in the family have this hobby? Every time I advance, there will be a lightning tribulation. She explained, if you guys are here, the lightning tribulation will recognize you as my helpers and pull you in. At the same time, it will increase the intensity of the lightning tribulation. Advancement comes with lightning tribulation? Why are you so weird? Wuxia exclaimed. I don't know either. Ever since I was struck by lightning when I advanced to divine rank, it's been like this every time I advance. Sima Yu said, that's why I came here to advance. I've set up an array here so no one can come near. You guys can go back first. We'll keep watch from afar. Wuxia said, we won't be in the range of the lightning tribulation. Sima Yu knew that he was still worried about her. But as long as they weren't in the range of the lightning tribulation, it was up to him. She checked the array again and after confirming that it could withstand for a while, she took out the lightning protection robe that Fatty Chu had made for her. Although it wasn't very useful, it was better than nothing. Then she took out 2 bottles of pills and placed them beside her before sitting down cross-legged. She had already completely refined the energy in the blood essence into her own. Now what she needed to do was to release the energy in the blood essence and guide it into her dantian. Wuxia watched as Sima Yu entered a state of cultivation. He pulled Wuxia away from the island and into the water far away, keeping an eye on her situation. Big brother, there's movement. Wuxia suddenly said. Wuxia also heard the movement from the island and furrowed his brows. He wanted to go up and get rid of the shrimp soldiers and crab generals, but he saw that dark clouds were beginning to gather in the sky. We can't go over. He pulled Wuxia's hand and said, the lightning tribulation is already brewing. If we go over now, we'll be treated as someone who's going through the tribulation with her. We'll harm her instead. Then what about those people? Wuxia asked anxiously. This book came from. Chapter 618. The following is provided for you, Chapter 618. Please enjoy. At this moment, a few half-human half-beast creatures with fish scales walked over from the other side of the island. Boss, it looks like a storm is coming. The man in the middle looked up at the sky and said, why are there dark clouds all of a sudden? Boss, there's a human in front. It really is. This is the depths of the ninth-star ocean. Why would there be a human? She seems to be cultivating. She didn't sense us coming. I heard that the Violet Water Clan's king took in a human as his goddaughter. Could it be this person? Very likely. Otherwise, who would be cultivating here? Boss, we're here to gather information about the Violet Water Clan. If we bring their princess back, the king will definitely put us in an important position. That's right, boss. Once we go back, we won't have to suffer from those people anymore. The boss didn't hesitate to begin with. Hearing his subordinates say that, he waved his hand and said, let's go. We'll bring that girl back. Boss, she seems to be leveling up. She's a high-level divine king. Why would the Violet Water King like her? It's good that she's weak. It'll be easier for us to capture her. The boss smiled and said, you too, go capture her while there's no one from the Violet Water Clan around. All right. The few of them looked around the island carefully. Seeing that there was no one else around, they swaggered towards Sima Yu. Go capture her. The boss ordered. Those people approached Sima Yu. However, before they could reach her, the protective array lit up and they were blocked outside. Why does it seem like something is blocking our way? We can't go forward. What is this? Boss, we can't go through. Boss, that white light is strange. Is it protecting her? It's strange indeed. Move aside. Let me try. The boss walked over and was blocked outside as well. Move aside. Boss punched the array formation, but the array formation didn't break. Instead, he felt some force hit his hand, causing him to fly back. Boss. The lackeys ran over and helped their boss up. They all asked with concern, Boss, are you all right? This white light is mysterious. The boss stood up and looked at Sima Yue in fear. What's wrong, boss? You attacked that white light. The boss pointed at someone. That person did not suspect anything and opened his mouth towards white light. A water column shot towards white light. Just like boss, the water didn't pass through the white light and hit Sima Yue. Instead, it was reflected by the white light and sent flying. Wow! Those people all took a step back and looked at the white light in horror. Boss, what is that thing? It can actually reflect our attacks. I don't know, but it's terrifying. Wu La Li and Wu La Xiu watched the situation from afar. They initially thought that if these people dared to get close to Sima Yue, they would get rid of them. They couldn't let them disturb her advancement. They didn't expect her to solve it herself. Those lackeys had never left the Ninth Star Ocean and had never seen a human's array. Hence, they didn't know what it was. They tried again and found that it was the same. They were so scared that they didn't dare to act rashly. Boss, why do I feel like the dark clouds in the sky are getting thicker? Nonsense. Don't the clouds get thicker before a storm? Why are they getting thinner? Boss slapped that person. He was feeling annoyed, but this guy was still chattering here. No, boss. These dark clouds are different from the dark clouds of a storm. That person shouted. Why do I feel fear when I see those dark clouds? Me too. Another person chimed in. Boss, why do I feel like these dark clouds don't look like the dark clouds of a storm? They look more like tribulation clouds? Tribulation clouds? Is this person going through tribulation? *CK, it's really tribulation clouds. No wonder my little heart is trembling. What are you guys waiting for? Why aren't you leaving? Are you waiting for the tribulation clouds to drag us in? Yes, yes, yes. The group of lackeys all ran in the direction of where Wu La Li and the rest were. Once they were far away, Wu La Li glanced at Wu La Xiu. The latter understood and quietly swam towards those people. Not long later he returned. Done? Wu La Li asked. Wu La Xiu nodded. I've brought them back for interrogation. These idiots really thought that there was no one in our sea. Wu La Li looked up at the dark clouds and said, I feel like the range of this tribulation will be greater than expected. Go and inform those creatures here to stay further away. Don't worry, I've already informed them. Wu La Xiu said. Then we'll stay further away too. The two of them quickly retreated further away from Sima Yue. The dark clouds grew thicker and thicker. This formation was even more powerful than their transformation tribulation. Almost the entire area was surrounded by dark clouds. It was dark everywhere. The fishes in the water felt their hearts tremble and fled in all directions. Even the palace at the bottom of the sea felt that something was wrong. What's going on? Wu La Mai and Shui Qing Man walked out of the palace and asked. King, it seems like someone is going through tribulation. The Prime Minister walked over slowly. Tribulation? Why would there be such a huge commotion? Wu La Mai said. Those who had transformed into human form had all experienced tribulation before. Naturally, they knew that this tribulation was not to be underestimated. However, this was the first time they had seen such a huge commotion. Father, mother. 7 men walked over. They were also alarmed by the commotion. Father, what's going on? Why are all the fishes in the sea running away? Someone is going through tribulation. Wu La Mai said. Tribulation? Second brother, are our clansmen going to transform into human form again? Wu La Lu shook his head. No. Their clansmen could report their transformation to the royal family. The royal family would prepare things for them to pass the tribulation and increase their chances of success. However, they did not receive any news recently. It was probably not their clansmen. Could it be that someone from another clan is going through tribulation here? Oh no! Shui Qing Man suddenly screamed, giving the surrounding people a shock. Qing Man, what's wrong? Wu La Mai pulled Shui Qing Man's hand and asked. Yue told me before that after she advanced to God level, there would be a lightning tribulation. Just now the guard said that Li and Xiu brought her to the surface of the sea. Could it be that she caused this commotion? Shui Qing Man said. What? Everyone was shocked. There was someone who advanced like this? Now I have to go up and take a look. Shui Qing Man said. She broke free from Wu La Mai's hand and transformed into her original form and swam towards the surface of the sea. I love my academy. Actively cooperate with the fight against obscene and pornographic information on the internet. Thank you. Chapter 619. Once Shui Qing Man left, Wu La Mai would definitely be the first to follow. followed closely by Wu La Lu. Father and mother care so much about a human. It seems that our little sister is quite capable. All I saw before was that she was in seclusion. Other than her good looks, I couldn't see anything else about her. He should be coming out of seclusion soon. How about we go and take a look? Sure. I also want to see how she'll survive such a huge lightning tribulation. The brothers quickly reached an agreement and swam towards the surface of the sea, leaving the Prime Minister alone to calm the panicked clansmen. Wu La Li and Wu La Xiu were worried about the thickening dark clouds when Shui Qingman and Wu La Mai came up. Father, mother. The two of them called out. Is Yue undergoing tribulation? Shui Qingman asked the moment she came up. It's little sister, but she hasn't started her tribulation yet. The tribulation clouds are still spreading. Wu La Li said. What? Wu La Lu, who had followed behind, cried out, this lightning tribulation is still spreading. How big is her lightning tribulation? It's much bigger than when we transformed, Wu La Xiu said. Now, when he looked at the tribulation clouds, he felt fear from the bottom of his heart. The other brothers had already rushed over. When they reached the surface of the sea, they could feel the power of the lightning tribulation even more. Indeed, there was no such commotion when they transformed back then. What should we do now? Such a huge lightning tribulation, can she withstand it? Shui Qingman grabbed Wu La Mai's hand, looking at the person on the island worriedly. Mother, you don't have to worry. Since little sister has experienced the lightning tribulation before, she should be fine this time. Wu La Xiu said, furthermore, we saw her making some preparations. Really? Shui Qingman asked Wu La Li. Wu La Li nodded. She had indeed made some preparations, but from his point of view, those preparations were not enough. Mother, you've never been interested in humans. Now that you've taken in a goddaughter, she's not an ordinary human. Don't worry, since she's so extraordinary, this lightning tribulation won't make things difficult for her. Someone comforted. That's right. Don't worry. She has my blood essence in her body. It can help her resist for a while. Wu La Mai comforted his wife. What? Father, you actually gave your blood essence to little sister? Yes, it's precisely because she absorbed the power of this essence blood that she was able to advance. I just don't know how many levels she'll be able to reach. Wu La Mai laughed. The brothers were silent. They didn't expect that their little sister, who had suddenly appeared, would be so loved by their king father and queen mother, to the extent that their king father would give her his essence blood and their queen mother would be so worried that she would neglect them. Wu La Air, the third prince of the Violet Water race, wasn't surprised to see Wu La Li and Wu La Lu. Big brother, second brother, you already knew? I only found out after father and the others gave it to her. Wu La Li said. At that time, Wu La Mai had already forced the essence blood into Yoyue's body. It was already impossible for them to extract the essence blood. Otherwise, Sima Yue would definitely suffer a strong backlash and possibly lose her life. No wonder father didn't look so good when he came back. Ural said unhappily. She had saved his mother, so it was fine for them to treat her a little better. However, he did not approve of treating her well in such a way that would harm his father's health. Does she know that this will hurt father? Wu La Bo, the fourth son, asked. She's a human, how would she know? Wu La Mai said. Moreover, she wasn't willing at first. We were the ones who insisted on giving it to her. We said that she would be back after a few months of recuperation. Hearing Wu La Mai's words, the brothers felt a little better. If she still dared to take it after knowing the situation, no matter how much their king father and queen mother liked her, they would not tolerate her. She's not the kind of human you think she is. Wu La Li said. I hope so. Wu La Air said. Little sister seems to be advancing. Wu La Xiu said when he saw Sima Yoyue's movements. The tribulation clouds are still spreading. Wu La Lu said as he looked at the tribulation clouds. Seeing this scene, the brothers stopped talking and looked at the people on the island. Sima Yue did not know that Shui Qingman and the others had come up. At this moment, she was completely focused on advancing. To be more precise, she was controlling the energy in her body. She had just released the energy in her blood essence bit by bit. However, the blood essence was like a flood that had opened the floodgates. It all rushed out at once. She spent a lot of energy to guide it into her dantian. Following that, her strength began to rise like a roller coaster. When she reached the peak, she easily broke through the barrier and entered the next level. After that, she continued to repeat the process. She was originally a high-level divine king. After absorbing the energy, she quickly advanced to divine overlord, divine overlord, divine overlord, divine overlord. She only stopped when she touched the divine emperor barrier. She had advanced by an entire level. A few silver lights flashed. Sima Yoyue's spirit beasts, other than Crimson Flame and Little Dream, all came out. When she advanced, they advanced as well. Chongming and Little Rock entered the 5th level of sacred beasts. Thousand Resonance became a 4th level sacred beast. Scarlet Queen Bee and Ye Guang became 3rd level sacred beasts. Little Roar did not have a clear rank, but everyone could feel that his strength had increased by quite a bit. Even the man-eating flower had grown a little. The red flower that had transformed into a human form was even more vibrant. When the people in the sea saw the spirit beasts by her side, they all widened their eyes. Damn, little sister actually has so many contracted beasts. Is she an evildoer? Wu La Xiu shouted out everyone's thoughts. They had spent a lot of time on land and had seen many geniuses and powerful people. Even those people with high status did not have as many sacred beasts as she did. And what kind of contract does she have? When she advanced, it actually caused the spirit beasts to all advance. Wu Lali said. It is indeed a little strange. However, look at that big golden bird. That should be the golden winged rock. Wu La Air said. That's the golden winged rock? Wu La Xiu looked at Little Rock in astonishment. He had heard of the golden winged rock when he was walking in the outer regions. However, this was a bird clan's matter. He did not pay much attention to it. He did not think that its contracted master would be his little sister. Yes, she is the contracted master of the Rock King. Wu Lali said. I did not think that she would have such an identity. Wu Labo muttered. They had always thought that a human becoming the princess of the Violet Water clan was a social climb. Now, it seemed that she had an identity that did not lose out to that. Wu Lamai's attention was not on the spirit beasts. He laughed loudly 3 times and said, I am very clear on how much power was contained in that drop of blood essence. A normal person would at most increase by 2 levels. I did not think that she would actually increase by a large level. Furthermore, I felt that she could have broken through to become a divine emperor, but she suppressed it. It seems that she absorbed the power in the blood essence very well. She did not waste it. Ah. Chapter 620. Hearing Wu Lamai's words, everyone was surprised. Why is she suppressing her advancement? Don't all humans wish to grow stronger faster? Wu La 7th asked. Going too far is as bad as not going far enough. She should understand that if she allows her level to increase, her strength will become superficial and her mentality will not be able to keep up. Instead, it will drag down the progress of her future cultivation. Wu Lali said, the previous 3 ranks were because the power was too fierce and she couldn't control it. However, after reaching the high level of Divine Overlord, she began to control the power. She was actually able to resist the temptation to continue leveling up and use the power to consolidate her current strength. This kind of mentality is hard to come by. This child's temperament has always been very good. Shui Qingman praised. Wula and Wula had changed their view of this god-sister who had suddenly appeared. Apart from having so many contracted beasts, she also had the heart to resist temptation. Frankly speaking, if they were in her shoes, they might not be able to make such a correct judgment when faced with such temptation. Sima Yue had successfully leveled up. Seeing that her beasts had leveled up as well, she smiled at them and looked up at the dark clouds in the sky. This time, the lightning tribulation was much stronger than before. He didn't know if he could survive it. Master, let us go with you this time. Little Rock said. Yes, Master, we will face it with you. Ye Guang agreed. Don't take us back. Sima Yue nodded. She didn't know if she could survive the lightning tribulation alone. With Little Rock and the rest, she would at least have some buffer. If you can't hold on any longer, I'll still have to take you back, she said. Hua Hua, you're a plant type. Don't stay with us. For someone like Hua Hua, not to mention resisting the lightning tribulation, he would probably be turned into ashes by the lightning. Master, let me stay. Hua Hua said, the spiritual energy in my body has no attribute to begin with, so I don't fear the lightning attribute. Besides, Master, you forgot that my root is still in the spirit pagoda. I will be fine. But Sima Yue was still hesitant. Master, I'm going to transform in the future, and there will be a lightning tribulation. Hua Hua said. Now, let me experience what the lightning tribulation is like. Alright then. If you can't, don't force yourself. Sima Yue said, all of you go back if you can't take it. We understand. The beast stood up and said. After discussing with the beasties, Sima Yue looked into the spirit pagoda and took out all the items related to lightning protection that Fatty Chu had refined in the past. Previously, he had not expected the lightning tribulation to be so terrifying, so he had only found something useful. But now he had taken out everything he had. No matter if it was useful or not, he would take it out to give it a try. Luckily, Fatty Chu had refined many things in the spirit pagoda after knowing that she would be struck by lightning every time she advanced. She hadn't thrown those things away yet, otherwise she wouldn't have these things. The people in the distant sea couldn't help but laugh when they saw the things piled up as high as a person beside her. No matter how he looked at it, that pile of things looked like trash. The tribulation cloud didn't give her much time to prepare, and the first bolt of lightning struck down very quickly. What made everyone's jaws drop was that she actually closed the defense array and charged towards the lightning. Pa! The power of the first bolt of lightning was dispersed quite a bit by her, and the rest flowed into her body. At the start, the power of the lightning wasn't very strong, but with the experience of being struck by lightning before, the remaining electric current didn't make her feel too uncomfortable. She was secretly happy. It seemed like her body was slowly getting used to the electric current. The power of this bolt of lightning is almost on par with the last few bolts after my transformation, but she's actually completely fine. Wuxia cried out in shock. Maybe she's already used to the lightning tribulation. Lu said, but we've seen her body before. It seems like someone helped her to refine it. Although it's not as strong as us, it's not inferior to the average spirit beast. Now that she's been refined by Royal Father's blood, and has been tempered by the lightning, I think her body won't be any worse than ours in the future. Wu Labo said. Why do I feel that little sister's body is full of secrets? I really want to investigate those secrets of hers. Wu Lao Lu said excitedly. Looking at her current situation, even if this lightning tribulation is more difficult, it won't take her life. Wu Lamai said. I hope so. Shui Qingman said. The first 10 bolts of lightning were all dispersed by her, and she even absorbed quite a bit of lightning attribute spiritual energy. Looking at the color of the tribulation cloud, it seemed like these 10 bolts of lightning were just appetizers. The lightning at the back was getting louder and louder, and the rumbling sound made all the fishes at the bottom of the sea extremely afraid. Even the stronger ones couldn't suppress the fear in their hearts. The Wu La brothers also felt fear towards the end, and the weakest one, Wu La Lao Ba, even directly grabbed Shui Qingman's hand. If Sima Yue could really survive this lightning tribulation, the brothers would completely accept her. Even now, they already thought that Sima Yue was stronger than them, because they couldn't attract such a strong lightning tribulation. Sima Yue grabbed a handful of pills and threw it into her mouth, then activated the array, and the protective array emitted ripples enveloping her. However, this array could only withstand 10 bolts of lightning, and at the last bolt it collapsed. However, this period of time gave Sima Yue a buffer. As the lightning continued to fall, Sima Yue felt like she was being roasted. She even smelled the burnt smell of her own flesh. I'll do it this time. Little Rock said and attacked the lightning, but the lightning directly burnt his feathers. After he landed, he quickly ate a pill and recovered from his injuries. I'll do it this time. Chongming was the second to go up, and ended up like Little Rock with his feathers burnt by the lightning. At the same time he ate a pill and recovered from his injuries. Following that, Qian Yun, Little Roar, Yaguang and Hua Hua all blocked a few bolts of lightning for her, but because everyone took turns to rest, they helped Sima Yue to block more than 10 bolts of lightning. Sima Yue recovered quite a bit and she also joined the team taking turns. The originally terrifying lightning tribulation was shared by them, and lessened by quite a bit. I didn't think that the lightning tribulation could be passed like this. The Wula brothers looked at the 1 person and 6 beasts taking turns to block the lightning tribulation and sighed. If we can pass the lightning tribulation like this in the future, it won't be so hard to pass. Wula Xiu's eyes lit up. This isn't something that just anyone can do. Wula Li interrupted Wula Xiu's words. For someone like her, first of all, she needs to have enough spirit beasts to buy time for her. Actually, that person needs to be like her and be able to refine pills for spirit beasts, and also have to set up the array beforehand. Just based on the first point, not everyone can have enough spirit beasts. Chapter 621. And Sima Yue kept them back into the spirit pagoda. Little Spirit would heal them when they returned. Looking at the tribulation clouds, she guessed that there should be 49 bolts of lightning this time. 46 bolts had already passed, and she could only rely on herself to deal with the remaining 3. Although she was now covered in wounds. Try your best to absorb the remaining lightning. I will protect your heart meridian and spirit pool. Just when she thought she was going to die here, Qi Yan's voice sounded in her mind. Sima Yue did not understand how to absorb the remaining lightning. If that was the case, she would have to use the remaining spiritual energy to control and guide the lightning element. She could no longer protect her body. But since Qi Yan said so, she could only do so. She believed that he would not harm her. Thus, she withdrew the spiritual energy covering her body. At the same time, she felt her heart and dantian being gently wrapped by crimson flames. She retracted her spiritual energy. The group of people in the sea became anxious. How could she retract her spiritual energy? The remaining lightning energy is even stronger. If she doesn't resist, I'm afraid she'll be struck to pieces. Wu Laxiu said anxiously. Could it be that she wants to abandon her physical body and only protect her heart and dantian? Lali guessed. No. Shui Qingman said, she should have another contracted beast, and it should be a very powerful contracted beast. I can feel a surge of energy emanating from her body. It must be that energy protecting her heart. Yeah, I feel it too. Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman looked at each other. They could feel that the aura wasn't any weaker than theirs. They wondered what other contracted beast she had. Could it be one of those lost mythical beasts? The lightning struck Sima Yue's body. She felt an unprecedented pain in her body. All of her meridians were tortured by the electric current. It was so painful that she almost fainted. The pain tore at her divine sense, causing her consciousness to gradually blur. Hurry up and absorb it. Qi Yan's voice pulled her back from the chaos. I can't faint. If I faint, I don't know if I can hold on. She clenched her teeth and endured the pain to control the electric current in her body. She used her spiritual power and divine sense to capture the chaotic lightning in her body. Suddenly, she found that this lightning was somewhat different from before. There was actually a little purple in the silver white. The people in the sea were stunned when the lightning struck her. But when they saw that she was actually absorbing the lightning, they felt that she was really crazy. With such an abnormal lightning tribulation, the following lightning tribulation will definitely be different. Shui Qingman understood Sima Yue's actions, but her heart ached for her. She was just a little girl in her 20s. Why did she have to work so hard to improve her strength? Seeing her like this, even number 3 and number 4, who had some opinions about her, were moved. They should be proud to have such a little sister. Before Sima Yue could finish absorbing the energy from the previous one, the second bolt of lightning struck her. She felt as though she was burnt from the inside out, and even her bones were melted by the electricity. If it wasn't for Qi Yan protecting her internal organs, she was afraid that she would have been a cooked corpse. Absorb. Other than absorbing, she had no other choice. She only hoped that the lightning she absorbed would be of some use. She didn't want to suffer in vain. When the last bolt of lightning struck, she only felt that she couldn't even control her divine sense. Her hands and feet were already deformed, and her body was burnt black. She looked extremely scary. Fortunately, after the lightning struck, the lightning tribulation cloud slowly dispersed. Sima Yue felt as though she saw a proud doll floating away. Yue. Shui Qingman saw that the lightning tribulation had passed. She came out from the sea and quickly flew towards Sima Yue. She flew to Sima Yue's side. Seeing her current state, her eyes were filled with tears. She took out a coat and covered her body. She asked, Yue, how are you? Sima Yue saw the worry in her eyes. She wanted to tell her that she was fine, that she was still alive. However, she didn't have the energy to speak now. All her energy was used to absorb the remaining lightning. Her body was not under her control now. She couldn't even blink. Although her eyes were open, she couldn't express anything. Wu Lamai brought his sons over. Seeing the burnt Sima Yue, they didn't laugh at her. Today she had already impressed them deeply. Mother, is little sister all right? She's still alive. Shui Qingman said. As long as she's still alive. As long as she was alive, no matter what method they used, they would be able to cure her. Let's bring her back first. Someone suggested. It's best not to. Previously, Yue was struck by lightning when she was refining the small elemental pill for Mother. At that time she told us not to touch her. At that time she said that she would be fine after she finished absorbing the lightning. Wu Lali said. Then let's just let her lie here. You guys, set up a tent for her to prevent her from being exposed to the wind and sun. Shui Qingman instructed her children. Wu Lali and the rest either stayed in an inn or went straight to camp. They really didn't know how to set up a tent. Furthermore, they didn't have tents that humans liked. Why don't we go to the island and get some branches and leaves to set up a tent for her? Wu Labo suggested. That's the only way. Hence, the few of them ran to the depths of the island to look for large trees. They chopped down branches and used them to build a frame. Then they placed the branches with leaves on top of it. After a few people's hard work, they finally managed to set up the tent after an hour of hard work. Although Sima Yue was immersed in her own world, she was still aware of what was happening in the outside world. Thinking about how the usually high and mighty prince was now setting up a tent for her, she wanted to laugh. Unfortunately, she couldn't laugh now because all the muscles on her face were gone. She really didn't dare to imagine how she looked like now. She might even vomit when she saw it. King, there was such a huge commotion just now. I'm sure many people were alerted. You should bring the children back to settle things first. Shui Qing Man said, I'll stay here and watch over her. Wu Lamai also knew that everyone in the clan was still in a state of panic. The neighbors might even send people over to ask about the situation. It was best for him and his second brother to go back and take care of the situation. Alright then, I'll go back with them first. You can bring her back when she can move. Li will stay behind to accompany you. Wu Lamai said. Wu Lali was the strongest among the brothers. He felt assured to leave him behind. Mother, let me go with you. Wu La Xiu pulled Shui Qing Man's hand and said, I want to accompany little sister too. Chapter 622. Wu Lamai brought his sons and left, leaving behind Shui Qing Man, Wu Lali and Wu La Xiu. Wu La Xiu ran to Sima Yue's side and reached out to poke Sima Yue's face. Little sister, you look so ugly now. If I didn't see you like this, I wouldn't believe that you were so beautiful before. How dare he call her ugly? Sima Yue wanted to glare at him, but her eyes refused to move. All she could see was the ceiling of the shed. She would remember this grudge. He dared to say that she was ugly. When she recovered, she would definitely teach this fellow a lesson. Brother 9, right? When the time comes, I'll let you return to one. Yue likes to hold grudges. If you call her ugly now, she might ignore you in the future, Wu Lali said with his arms crossed in front of his chest. Ah, it can't be? Wu La Xiu stretched forth a hand to poke Sima Yu's face, saying bitterly, Little sister, although you're very ugly now, I don't despise you. Look, I'm still accompanying you. You can't just ignore me. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. Was this guy the funniest because he was the youngest? She didn't want to pay attention to this guy. After making sure that she was safe, she devoted herself to digesting today's feast. While she was absorbing the purple lightning, her body was also rapidly repairing itself. In addition to the pills she had taken before, she was able to control her body within a day. She found that the stronger she was, the weaker the seal on her godly devil body would be, and the faster her body would recover. The weaker the seal, the greater the possibility of her body exploding. Her divine sense had been wandering around in her body, observing her body. She found that there was indeed a trace of the Violet Water Tribe's bloodline in her body. Because of this, her reconstructed body was even stronger than the average spirit beast. Mother, why do I feel that the speed at which her body is recovering is a little strange? Wu La Xiu poked Sima Yue every now and then and realized that her shriveled and burnt body was recovering rapidly. Even her burnt hair was growing back. Maybe her physique is special. Wu Lali said, Don't humans have many rare physiques? It's possible. Wu La Xiu nodded. But Lil, Sis's recovery ability is too strong. She's even stronger than us. Shui Qing Man looked at Sima Yue's closed eyes and said, This child has a lot of secrets. If she's willing to tell us, then she'll tell us. If she's not willing to, then you're not allowed to force her, understand? I understand, Mother Empress. Wu La Xiu understood that she was talking to him. A few days later, Sima Yue was finally able to move. When she opened her eyes, the first thing she said to Wu La Xiu was, I'm so ugly, don't talk to me. Wu La Xiu, who was supporting Yue, froze. Then he smiled at Yue and said, Little sister, you're so beautiful. Who would dare to say you're ugly? Ninth brother will help you take care of him. Sima Yue was amused by him. Are you sure that person isn't you? How could it be me? I've always thought that Lil, Sis is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Why would I say that you're ugly? Wu La Xiu said casually. Xiu, Yue can't walk by herself yet. You should carry her back. Shui Qingman said. Wu Laxiu was a little unwilling. He was from the noble Violet Water tribe and had the bloodline of the ancient divine dragon. How could he carry someone back casually? Even though this person was his little sister that he really liked. I know ninth brother thinks that I'm ugly. Sima Yue pouted. When Wu Laxiu saw Sima Yue's expression, he knew that she was definitely faking it. However, his heart softened. I'll carry her, okay? Thank you, ninth brother. Sima Yue immediately smiled like a flower. In the end, Wu Laxiu carried Sima Yue on his back and directly sent her to her room. He then carefully placed her on the bed. Godmother, I'm fine now. These injuries will heal in a few days. You haven't rested for a long time. If you tire yourself out, Godfather's heart will ache. Sima Yue said with a smile. Mother will take care of Yue. You should go back and rest first. Wu Lali said. All right, Yue. I'll come and see you later. Shui Qingman said to Sima Yue. Godmother, take care. Sima Yue smiled as she watched Shui Qingman leave. She then said to the other two, Big brother, ninth brother, you guys should go back and rest too. It's okay. We're not tired. We want to take good care of you. Wu Laxiu said. Sima Yue glared at him. Now that her eyes were hers, she could glare at whoever she wanted. Ninth brother, I'm a girl. I'll feel uncomfortable if you stay in the house. Sima Yue said. All right then. We'll go back first. Wu Lali said as he pulled Wu Laxiu, who still didn't want to leave, out. Sima Yue waited for them to leave before letting out a long sigh. She swung her arms and kicked her legs. Although she was still a little numb, it was already much better than she expected. In order to not arouse their suspicions, she hadn't moved her limbs for the past few days. Now she was finally free. However, what she didn't know was that they already knew that her body was different from normal humans. She laid on the bed and checked her current strength. She was a high-level divine overlord. She was only a step away from divine emperor. She was very happy that she had risen an entire level. She was even more grateful towards Wu Lamai. If he hadn't given her his essence blood, it would have been impossible for her to reach her current level. Previously, they thought that she couldn't sense what was going on in the outside world because she didn't react no matter what they said. That was why they once discussed Wu Lamai giving her his essence blood. That was when she realized that Wu Lamai giving her his essence blood would harm his body. If he wasn't careful, it could even cause his strength to regress. However, he still gave it to her without hesitation. Although a large part of it was because he didn't agree with Shui Qingman using his essence blood to increase her strength. I'm already close to the barrier of Divine Emperor. If I have enough strength, I should be able to advance. She muttered to herself. However, my strength has only increased by so much. I'm not in a hurry to advance to Divine Emperor. Although the lightning tribulation this time was powerful, it also stabilized our sudden increase in strength. I didn't have any problems with my foundation. Godfather gave me his essence blood. My body looks quite weak now. I'll wait for my body to recover in 2 days. Then I'll see if I can make up for it. When she released her divine sense into her dantian, she realized that the pool of lightning attribute spiritual energy was different. It had turned light purple. She remembered that Qian had asked her to absorb it. However, he didn't say what it was for. Qian, why did you want me to absorb the lightning? She asked straightforwardly. Chapter 623. But her question didn't get an immediate answer from Qian. After a while, he said faintly, top-grade purple heavenly lightning doesn't appear all the time. If you absorb it, the damage caused to your body by the lightning tribulation will be greatly reduced. You don't have to worry about ordinary lightning tribulations at all. They're just sending you lightning elements. Upon hearing this, Sima Yue's eyes widened and her mouth opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed into it. What is the purple extreme heavenly thunder? That is one of the rarer lightning tribulations. Now that you have purple top-grade sky lightning in your body, if you cultivate well, you can trigger the sky lightning on your own in the future, and you don't need to wait until you advance. Crimson Flame said. Are you saying that I'll attract a lightning tribulation to strike me? Sima Yue pursed her lips. She was asking for it. Lightning can temper your body, and it can complement your current body refining method. Qian said, moreover, in the future if you encounter someone you don't like and can't beat. Red Flame didn't finish his sentence, but Sima Yue understood what he meant. In the future, if he was immune to lightning, he could attract a lightning tribulation to refine his body. If he was in trouble, he could attract a lightning tribulation to kill his opponent. In any case, he was going through the tribulation himself. If others were around, they would also suffer and be struck by the lightning tribulation. When she found out that the top-grade purple lightning had such an effect, she laughed so hard that she almost rolled over on her bed. In the past, he hated the lightning tribulation a little, but he didn't expect it to have such benefits. This feeling was really amazing. Chien, in the past there was always a lightning tribulation. Why is it different this time? Why did you attract the purple thunder? She only remembered to ask this after she had laughed enough. It's probably because you leveled up a lot this time. Crimson Flame wasn't sure either. The appearance of the purple heavenly lightning is also coincidental. It doesn't happen just because you leveled up a lot. At first I didn't know either. I only realized it when the last 3 bolts of lightning appeared. So it's because of my good character? Sima Yue said narcissistically. However, Chien, is this purple top-grade heavenly lightning very harmful to you? You don't even have the energy to talk. While she was recuperating, Chien didn't speak. He seemed to be in a deep sleep and only woke up today. To protect your body from the purple extreme heavenly lightning, it did consume quite a bit of strength. Crimson Flame said, but I've already eaten a golden snake fruit. I've almost recovered, but I'm still a little tired. I'll be fine after some rest. Sima Yue was silent for a while before she said in a low voice, Chien, thank you. She had already faintly felt how strong Chien was, but she didn't expect him to be injured so badly. If it wasn't for him, would he really be able to survive the encounter with the purple lightning? Okay, I'm going to sleep again. Don't wake me up if there's nothing else. Chien felt her gratitude and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. After a faint response, he stopped talking. Have a good rest, Sima Yue replied. Thinking about Chien's injuries, thinking about how the beasts were seriously injured by the lightning, his heart ached. Yu, our injuries have already healed. Little Roar said from the spirit pagoda. That's right, master. We're all healed. Yaguang said. We can also use this opportunity to consolidate our strength. Chongming said. The beast's consolation made her feel touched. Thank you all. It's good to have you all. It's best to be with Yu. Little Roar said. I'll have to trouble you all to stay in the spirit pagoda for these few days. When we go back, I'll cook something good for you all. Sima Yue said with a smile. Okay, I haven't eaten Yu's cooking in a long time. When it came to food, Little Roar always rushed to the front. Master, I want to eat barbecued meat. Yaguang said. I'm fine with anything. Chongming said coolly. Sima Yue's smile grew wider. They were a group of considerate beasts. She didn't stay in the room for long before the group of brothers came. Little sister, let me introduce you. This is 3rd brother, this is 4th brother, this is... Wuxia introduced all the brothers. Thank you, brothers, for coming to see me. Sima Yue laid on the bed and saw the group of men standing in front of her bed. She felt that her fate with brothers was quite good. It was a pity that she didn't have an older sister. How are you now? Wulabo asked. Much better. I'll be able to get out of bed in a few days. Sima Yue replied. Little sister, you're really amazing. You actually survived that kind of lightning tribulation. Isn't it all thanks to my beasts? She smiled. Since they had all seen her tribulation, they naturally saw her beasts. You have so many contracted beasts. I've never met anyone like you when I was on the continent. How did you get so many contracted beasts? I met some. They were willing to follow me, so slowly there were more. Sima Yue said. Although these beasts were basically swindled by her or Little Roar, in the end they were still willing to follow her. That was why she ignored the process and went straight to the end. Alright, let little sister recuperate here first. We don't want to disturb her here. Wu Lali saw the fatigue on Sima Yue's face and grabbed his brothers and left. Little sister, you should recuperate first. Once you're better, we'll discuss the tribulation. Okay. She looked at Wu Lali gratefully. Although this group of cheap brothers looked pretty good, she had not fully recovered from her injuries and couldn't bear the noise of so many people. Brothers? I wonder how my brothers are doing. Sima Yue looked at the Crystal Palace and missed Sima Yuming and the others. Although she had entered the sect, if she wasn't looking for information about Shimin Feng, she would be running around everywhere. She rarely spent time with them these 2 years. Now that she thought about it, she really missed them. She gave herself a few pills. Adding on the self-healing ability of the Holy Devil Physique, she recovered in less than half a month. This speed of recovery made the Violet Water Clansmen secretly surprised. During this period of time, her cheap brothers would come to see her from time to time. She slowly became familiar with them after interacting with them. Today she changed into men's clothes and went to look for Shui Qing Man. She had been here for so long, so it was time to go back. Little sister, why did you change into men's clothes? Wu Laxiu asked curiously when he saw her like this. Sima Yue told them that she had to change into men's clothes. Shui Qing Man used to think that she just liked to dress up as a man, but when she knew that she had no choice, she ordered everyone to call her 10th Highness before she announced to the world that she was a girl. Wu Lali and the others also called her 10th brother. Mother, I've been here for 7 to 8 months. When I first came I took a year's leave. It's time to go back. Chapter 624. As for her request, Shui Qing Man and the rest were not surprised. They knew that she would definitely request to return after her injuries were healed. After all, she had her own life. If you want to go back, I won't stop you. But if you have time in the future, come and visit Imperial Mother. Do you understand? Shui Qing Man pulled her and reminded her. I will. After living together for a year, Sima Yue also developed feelings for this humble foster mother and treated her as her own family. With a wave of her hand, another pile of pills appeared in front of everyone. Mother, these are the medicinal pills that I have concocted during this period of time. They are similar to the ones I concocted last time, but the effects are better. You're still concocting pills when you're recuperating. Shui Qing Man poked her head. Anyway, this won't affect my recovery. Sima Yue smiled. Her injuries had completely healed a few days ago, but she had delayed telling them because she didn't want to scare them. And these few days she had used it all to concoct pills. Her strength had increased by a large margin, making it easier for her to refine 7th grade pills. Moreover, the 3rd floor of the Spirit Pagoda had been opened, and there were many high-grade pill recipes and alchemy techniques, as well as some rare and precious herbs. When she went to the 3rd floor for the first time, she was very happy to see those things. Although it was a little different from what she had imagined, those things that appeared were things that she could use and needed. Although the difference between a 7th grade alchemist and an 8th grade alchemist was only 1 grade, it might take many people decades or even hundreds of years to cross this gap. With those precious handbooks, it was only a matter of time for her to understand the points of attention on them. We haven't even used the pills you concocted for us the last time. Now that you've concocted so many pills, I think we probably have the most pills in the entire ocean. Shui Qing Man said. She put away the pills, then took out a spatial ring and said, I know you'll go back once you're healed, so I had your brothers prepare some things for you. They've been walking on land all year round, so they know what's useful for you humans. Everything is here. If you need anything in the future, just come back and get it. Or send a message to your brothers to deliver it to you. Sima Yue took the space ring and was so shocked that she almost dropped it. The space ring, which was the size of 2 football fields, was actually stuffed to the brim. The things that were casually thrown into the corner of the space ring were treasures that were worth tens of thousands of crystal stones on the continent. Mother, how can I accept so many things? Shui Qing Man saw the shock on Sima Yu's face and said with a smile, these are really useful to you guys. When I saw those guys choosing things, I even scolded them for choosing useless things. However, they said that these things are useful on land, so I got them to pack more for you. Anyway, it's all in the storeroom. It's best if you can use it. The treasure pavilion that I showed you last time was only a small part of it. The things inside are not even 1/10 of the rest. Wu Lali said. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Previously, she had been dazzled by the treasures collected by the Violet Water Tribe. She did not expect that those treasures were not even 1/10 of the treasures in other places. It was said that the dragon race liked to collect treasures. It seemed that it was true. You are the princess of the Violet Water Tribe. How can you not bring more things with you when you go out? Shui Qing Man smiled and stuffed the space ring back into her hand. Say goodbye to your father and I'll get Li to send you back. Thank you, Mother. I'll go and inform Mother. Sima Yue kept the space ring and smiled as she walked out. Greetings, 10th Highness. The Prime Minister just happened to walk in from outside and met Sima Yue. Prime Minister walked slowly. Sima Yue supported the Prime Minister and said, Mother and brother are inside. Are you here to look for them? Yes. Then you can go in. Sima Yue let go of him and went to look for Wu Lamai. The Prime Minister looked at Sima Yue's back view and went in with a smile. They never thought that there would be a day where they could be so close to humans. Sima Yue went to look for Wu Lamai. He was discussing something with Wu La Lu. Ever since Shui Qing Man recovered, Wu La Mai started to care about the tribe's affairs again, especially the tribe that hurt Shui Qing Man and the incident where Yue was caught sneaking in when she was advancing. He started to ask about everything. After knowing that Sima Yue was leaving, they stopped what they were doing and said that they were going to send her off. They first went to Shui Qing Man's place and then sent her to the surface of the sea with a group of brothers who came after hearing the news. 10th brother, remember to miss us when you go back. Wu La Xiu said. I will miss all of you. Sima Yue was reluctant to part with Wu La Xiu. He was the closest person to her now. Alright, I have a friend who said that he came to the Nine-Star Ocean. His name is Third Mo and he looks like this. If you see him in the future and he is in trouble, please help him. After speaking, she took out a portrait and passed it to Wu La Xiu. Your friend. Wu La Xiu took the portrait and looked at it. If we see him, we will help you take care of him. Sima Yue had been here for a year and had never asked for anything from them. Now that she finally asked for one, they were more attentive. Thank you. Sima Yue smiled. Let's go. Wu Lali opened a space tunnel and brought Sima Yue in. Only after the tunnel closed did they reluctantly retract their gazes. Alright, if you miss her, you can still visit her in the future. Wu La Mai hugged Shui Qing Man's shoulder and comforted her. Who is it? Wu La Lu suddenly shouted and flew into the distance. Wu La Bo and Wu La Air also followed. Not long later they caught a few half-human half-fish creatures and walked back. It's the eel tribe again. Seems like they have been living too well these few years and have forgotten their past. Wu La Mai said angrily. Our Violet Water tribe should let those people know who is the boss of the water. Bring them back and interrogate them properly. Yes, father. When the Wu La brothers saw that Wu La Mai had regained his former dominance, they were all overjoyed. In order to cure Shui Qing Man, their tribe did not participate in the matters of the sea. This caused people to gradually forget their past glory and thought that they were a piece of fat meat that anyone could get a piece of. Now that their father had risen again, it meant that their Violet Water tribe's dominance of the sea was coming back. On the other side, Wu Lali directly sent Sima Yue to Tianfu City and even sent her to the Sima residence. Big brother, come in with me. Sima Yue said. I will let grandfather and the others meet you. Wu Lali did not plan to interact with humans, but she said that it was her grandfather and he should meet him. He nodded and agreed. Sima Yue pushed the door open and entered, but found that the courtyard was abnormally quiet. This caused her to panic. Chapter 625. She ran all the way from the outer court to the inner court, but she didn't see a single person. Grandpa? Grandpa? Atlan? Aunt you? Are you there? She looked around but didn't see anyone. The uneasiness in her heart continued to grow. Wu Lali pulled her back as she was about to run off to look around. There's no one in this house. You don't have to look anymore. Why aren't Grandpa and the others here? Sima Yue said worriedly. Even if Grandpa goes out, Auntie Lan and Auntie Yu usually won't go out. A situation where there was no one around had never happened before. Could something have happened to them? Don't worry. Maybe they've gone out. Wu Lali said, go look for them in the places they might have gone, or ask others to see if they know where they are. You're right. I'll ask my brothers. However, they might be in the inner court. I'm not sure if we can see them. Sima Yue said, or we can go to Memory Restaurant and ask. Grandfather was in charge now. If something happened to them, Memory Restaurant would know. Let's go and ask now. Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali and ran outside. Just as they reached the front yard, they saw a group of people coming in. Grandpa? She stopped in her tracks and froze on the spot. Yue, you're back. Fatty Chu walked over and gave her a big bear hug, laughing heartily. Grandpa, Auntie Lan, are you all right? Sima Yue blinked her eyes and asked blankly after confirming that it was them. What can we do? Sima Lai walked over and pulled Fatty Chu away from her, saying, when did you come back? I just arrived. When I came back and saw that there was no one at home, I thought that something had happened to you. I didn't expect it to be a false alarm. Sima Yue said, where did you go? In the past, there was never a time when all of you were away. Today you ran and the others have rested and come out. This is the first time in half a year that everyone has gathered together, so we went to Memory Restaurant for a meal. Ouyang and Bei Gong have both come, so your Auntie Lan and Auntie Yu naturally went out together. Sima Lai said. It's good that you're fine. Sima Yue said with a smile, so all of you have entered the inner court. That's right, we were so mighty back then. It's a pity you didn't get to see it. Sima Yulu said regretfully. Yue, have you settled your matters? Sima Yulin saw that Wu Lali had come back with her and asked worriedly. This is? Sima Lai had never seen Wu Lali before and did not know that he was the one who took Yue away. Grandfather, let me introduce you. This is my big brother Wu Lali. He is the great majesty of the Violet Water clan. Sima Yue said. Big brother, this is my grandfather. This is my big brother, second brother. She introduced the people in the courtyard to Wu Lali one by one. Wu Lali nodded at them. Yue, didn't he bring you to treat someone's injuries? How did he become your big brother? Fatty Chu asked. He went to treat my adoptive mother, who is also his mother. After my adoptive mother recovered, she took me in as her adoptive daughter, so he became my big brother. Sima Yue said, let's not just stand here. Let's go to the living room to talk. Okay. Sima Yue told them about what had happened in the Violet Water clan. When they heard that she had been struck by lightning twice and almost lost her life the last time, the joy of knowing that her strength had increased by leaps and bounds was diluted by a lot. If there's nothing else, I'll head back first. Wu Lali said. Big brother, aren't you going to stay here for a few more days? Sima Yue asked. After mother recovered, Imperial Father started to pull himself together. A lot of things that he had let go of before should be rebuilt. There are a lot of things to do in the clan. I have to go back. Wu Lali said. Then big brother, wait a moment. Sima Yue said. After that, she said to Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei, the two of you, give me all the pills that you've refined for the spirit beasts. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei guessed that she wanted to give it to Wu Lali for him to bring back, so they took out all the pills that they had refined for the spirit beasts. The two of them added up to a few hundred bottles. Sima Yue counted them and said to Wu Lali, Big brother, these pills are the same as the ones that I gave you to treat your injuries. Take these back. If you need more pills, get someone to tell me. Little sister doesn't have much other things, but I don't lack pills. You've already given me quite a bit before you left. Wu Lali said. Ninth brother told me the last time that I was almost interrupted by a few people from outside the clan when I was advancing in rank. Luckily I was protected by a protective array. That sea area belongs to the Violet Water clan. If other sea beasts appeared, it means that someone is secretly sending people to investigate the Violet Water clan. Sima Yue said, if the Violet Water clan fights with other sea beasts in the future, casualties will be unavoidable. These pills will help you a little. Wu Lali didn't think that Sima Yue would be able to see the situation of the Violet Water clan even though she didn't ask anything in the clan. Since that's the case, I won't be polite. Wu Lali said. If they really fought with other clans in the future, these pills would be more important. There were very few pills that were useful for the spirit beast. Sima Yue watched as he accepted the pills and said with a smile, these are far worse than the ones you gave me. If you need more in the future, get someone to tell me. I'll say the same thing again. I don't have much, but I have a lot of ingredients to refine pills for you. Refining pills will be very easy. Wu Lali stretched out his hand and rubbed her hair, saying dotingly, got it. If I lack pills in the future, I'll definitely tell you. That's what you said. Mem, I said it. Wu Lali said, do you remember the contact method I gave you? Sima Yue nodded, saying, I remember. Alright, I'm going back. Wu Lali retracted his hand and opened a spatial tunnel to return to the Ninth Star Ocean. Once Wu Lali left, Fatty Chu and the others finally let go and surrounded Sima Yue with questions. Sima Yue called the beasts out, saying, I promised them that I would cook for them. We'll talk about those things later while we eat. Oh, I forgot that you guys already ate. It's okay, we can still eat. Fatty Chu said, no matter how much you cook, we can still eat. That's right. We haven't eaten anything you made in a long time. Sima Lai also joined in. Sima Yue saw them like that and laughed, saying, let's go, we'll have a good meal today. Everyone, tell us what you guys have experienced in the past half a year. She had left for 7 to 8 months. In this period of time, she had experienced a lot. The others had also experienced a lot. Otherwise, they wouldn't have collectively grown stronger. She really wanted to know what kind of place the inner sect was, and what had allowed their strength to grow so quickly. Chapter 626. While they were eating, Fatty Chu gave Sima Yue a vivid description of their assessment, especially the Spirit Master selection. That was an exciting battle, causing her blood to boil as she listened to it. I see that your strength has increased by 1 level. What's going on? She asked curiously. This is the result of cultivating in the cultivation tower of the inner yard. Wei Ziqi said, every student who enters the inner sect has the right to enter the cultivation pagoda for free. The spiritual energy in the pagoda is even denser than the spirit pagoda, especially the spirit pool in the basement. We soaked in it for a few months and advanced in rank. That's right, other than the spirit pool we also got a chance to temper our bodies for free. That process made us want to cry for our parents. Fatty Chu said. Body tempering? Sima Yue checked the bodies of Ouyang Fei and the others. Indeed, they were much stronger than before. How did you temper your bodies? I don't know what animal's blood it is, but it smells like blood. We were directly thrown into a pool of blood by the teachers. I don't know what kind of blood it is, but the moment we touched it, we felt as if our bodies were being burned. Anyway, it was so painful. Fatty Chu complained. Fatty, don't give me that. Out of all of us, you're the happiest one. You're crying out in the blood pool. Bei Gong Tang said. I'm happy, but it still hurts. Fatty Chu said. Fatty, you're the one with the toughest skin here. If you're complaining in pain, wouldn't the others be even worse? Sima Yue teased. Isn't that so? Someone fainted from the pain. I think it's someone from your alchemy department. Fatty Chu said, it's a pity that you're not here. Otherwise you could experience it with us. Is the blood pool always open? Sima Yue asked. No. Sima Yulin said, this blood pool only opens once every 10 years. It only opens when new students enter the inner sect. The rest of the time it was closed. And it's only for freshmen. In other words, if he missed this opportunity, he would not have another chance in the future. You're already relying on lightning to refine your body. Why are you still thinking about this? Sima Yuran smiled. That's true. Sima Yue chuckled. After experiencing crimson flames refine her body twice and being tortured by lightning a few times, her body was already very strong. She was afraid that the average method would be useless. Can you really trigger the lightning tribulation now? Fatty Chu thought of the top-grade purple lightning in her body and felt that it was unbelievable. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. You don't want to give it a try? No. Fatty Chu hurriedly waved his hands. If his small body was struck by lightning, he would probably turn into ashes. Fifth bro, when do you plan to go to the sect? Sima Yuran asked. After a while, I guess. Sima Yue on Yue on Yue on the Sima on Yu. Recently she had been outside or at the academy. It had been a long time since she had spent time with Sima Lai. Anyway, it's still early for the holidays. I'll stay at home with Grandpa for a while. What do you think, grandfather? She smiled and asked Sima Lai. Of course, grandfather is happy that you can stay at home. But grandfather knows that you're worried about your brother's situation. If you can solve it quickly after entering the inner sect, you should go earlier. Sima Lai said, anyways, we have a lot of time. It's the same to accompany grandfather in the future. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. Grandfather's age was nothing in the primordial lands. There was still a long way to go. Then I'll go look for Vice Principal and Teacher Good tomorrow. Sima Yue said, oh right, do you know anything about Senior? We don't know anything about him, but we know about another person in the Sage Pavilion. Wei Ziqi said. Oh, Nalan Lan. Sima Yue's hand paused. Then she continued to put the roasted food on the plate and asked, how do you know about her? Last time, the Sage Pavilion held a gathering of holy sons and daughters in Heavenly City. It seemed that all the holy sons and daughters in the outer regions were gathered. At that time many people came from the inner regions. Nalan Lan was one of them. Bei Gong Tang said. You said before what kind of physique she had. It said that people with this kind of physique have good cultivation talent. In a short 10 years she advanced from a spirit saint to a divine king. It said that she was only a step away from becoming a divine overlord. Fatty Chu said, I really didn't think that someone like her would have this kind of physique. What a waste. When Sima Yue heard about Nalan Lan, she thought about how she had been tricked by her in the Saint City and almost lost her life. At that time she had taken care of Li Mu and that array master. It was a pity that when she came out from Dragon Reflection Mountain, Nalan Lan had already been brought to the primordial lands. You saw her? Did she see you? She asked. I don't think so. Wei Ziqi said, at that time, we were in the private room of Memory Restaurant. When they came in from the main hall, we heard her voice. We went to open a crack and peeked outside. Is she still here? She has already returned to the inner regions. The matter with the Sage Pavilion has already ended a month ago. Sima Yue said. What a pity. Sima Yue said regretfully, if she was here, I could have looked for her to reminisce about the past and tell her about how she tricked me that year. But we're in the same continent, so we'll meet sooner or later. They ate and drank until very late that day. The next morning, Sima Yu Ming and the others returned to the inner sect. Sima Yue rarely slept in, and went to look for Sima Lai to be lovey-dovey for a while before going to the sect. She first went to look for the vice principal and told him that she was safe before going to look for Gulang. When Gulang saw her appear, he was a little surprised. Then he said happily, "You're finally back. If you didn't come back, that guy would have killed his way to the Nine-Star Ocean." Sima Yue knew that guy was definitely Su Jin. Apart from him, Gulang would not call anyone else that. Didn't he promise me a year's time? Why is he in such a hurry? Sima Yue asked casually. Didn't he hear that the Nine-Star Ocean is not peaceful recently? He's afraid that something will happen to you there. Gulang said, but it seems like he's worried for nothing. Sima Yue smiled but did not speak. When do you plan to go to the inner sect? Gulang asked. In these 2 days. Sima Yue said, there's nothing much to do here. It's good to go to the inner sect earlier. That's fine too. I'll contact him for you. Gulang said, you didn't enter the inner sect with them, so you missed out on a lot of resources. But seeing you like this, you're not worse than those guys. It doesn't matter whether you have those or not. But after a while there will be 3 great meetings. You can participate. 3 great meetings? What 3 great meetings? Chapter 627. The inner sect's ranking assembly will be held in various forms. The most common one is the Spirit Master Ranking Assembly. Gulang explained. Then what's the use of these 3 meetings? Sima Yue asked. This is linked to future cultivation resources. You should know about the inner courtyard billboard by now, right? Gulang asked. I know. Fatty and the others already told me about it yesterday. Sima Yue said. The cultivation resources of the inner yard depend on one's talent and strength. The better one's talent and strength are, the more cultivation resources one can obtain. Gulang said, although you've chosen the alchemy department, I know that your main focus is still spiritual energy cultivation. Therefore, you should take as many cultivation resources as you can from the inner court. I understand. Sima Yue said, I will attend the 3 conferences. Go back and make some preparations. I'll contact Old Su. When he comes back, he'll take you to the inner court, Gulang said. Teacher Gu, is Teacher Su very special in the inner court? He actually allowed me to take a break. Sima Yue felt that she could learn more about her future teacher. Don't look at how young he usually pretends to be. He's only a little younger than your master, and he's not much better at alchemy than your master before he was injured. Gulang said. Ah. Sima Yue was so surprised that her mouth was slightly agape. That show-off guy was actually similar to her master? Don't be surprised. Although he's old and powerful, he's like a baby who hasn't grown up. He doesn't look like a role model at all. Gulang said. Ahem. Sima Yue wanted to laugh when she heard his description. After interacting with him twice, she also found that Su Jin's temperament was a bit different. He was like a dissolute wastrel, but it wasn't as exaggerated as Gulang said. Is he special in the inner yard? Yes, according to his strength, he can be the dean of the inner courtyard's alchemist department. However, he refused to do it no matter what. He said that if he was allowed to be the dean, he would leave the academy. There's no other way. We can only follow his wishes. Gulang said, because his alchemy skills are very strong and his personality is perverse, he won't take students he doesn't like and won't attend classes when he doesn't want to. Therefore, Principal Yuan gave him special rights to not be controlled by the alchemy department and to have priority in choosing students. Therefore, although you also belong to the alchemy department, you can also say that you are not. Sima Yue understood Su Jin's position. Thinking of his personality, she asked, then did he teach many students these years? There are still a few. Gulang said, it's just that the temperament of those seniors of yours, you'll know once you enter the inner court. Sima Yue could already imagine that Su Jin's students might be similar to him. Otherwise, how could they enter his eyes? Teacher Gu, I'll go back first. She stood up and said, all right. That fellow, I'll first see if he's in the inner court. Gulang said, you go back and wait. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gu. She bowed to Gulang before turning to leave. Towards Gulang she was both respectful and grateful. She had chosen the medical department by herself without a mentor. Gulang could be considered her mentor. Not only did he teach her medical skills, he also helped her find a way to treat her younger brother. His help and influence to her was enormous. After leaving the academy, she returned home and gave a portion of the things she obtained in the Ninth-Star Ocean to Sima Lai. These things might only be used to fill the storehouse in the Violet Water clan, but they were very valuable on the land. Sima Yue wanted Sima Lai to change to a bigger courtyard and hire some people to take care of them. However, Sima Lai and the others said that they were already used to this kind of life and no one would find trouble with them. Besides, with the help of Memory Restaurant and Shenyuan Pavilion, no one in Heavenly Sect City would dare to touch them. Seeing that they insisted, she didn't force them. These few days, Gulang didn't give her any news. It should be because Su Jin hadn't returned. She took this opportunity to relax. Every day she cooked for Sima Lai and the others, chatted with them, went shopping and patrolled the Memory Restaurant with them. She didn't think about the pressure now, didn't think about the things she hadn't finished yet, and didn't think about the deep hatred from her past life. Her life was so relaxed that it was like a dream. Unfortunately, this kind of comfortable life didn't last for long as it was cut off by that flashy red. Sima Yue saw Su Jin lazily leaning on the armchair and Sima Lai beside him. She suppressed the urge to roll her eyes and went up to greet Su Jin. Teacher Su, why did you come personally? Su Jin saw that Sima Yue's aura had become much stronger and said with a smile, looks like your harvest in the Ninth-Star Ocean this time wasn't bad. Are you grateful that I gave you a year of vacation? Many thanks for Teacher Su's help. Sima Yue said gratefully. I went out of town these few days and just came back today. Old Gu told me that you're back, so I came. Su Jin said, I'm going to the inner sect now. Come with me. We're leaving now. Sima Yue stared blankly. She looked at the sky and saw that it was almost evening. Of course it's now. Don't tell me you want me to stay for dinner? Su Jin glanced at her. Yue, since your teacher said to go now, then let's go now. Sima Lai said. Yes. Then let's go. Sima Yue said to leave and left. Anyway, her things were all in the Spirit Pagoda, so she didn't need to pack anything. Su Jin directly opened a space tunnel and brought her in. Sima Yue only felt like she was traveling in the space for a few minutes. Logically speaking, she shouldn't have reached the outer sect yet. However, when she came out, she was already in a forest. This is the Maze Forest. If you walk from here, you'll reach the inner sect. I'll wait for you in the inner sect. Su Jin said and disappeared. Sima Yue looked at the dark forest and couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. This guy hurriedly brought her to the inner sect just to leave her in this damned maze forest in the middle of the night? She looked around and didn't know which direction to go. She simply found a spacious place and started a fire. She called her beasts out to chat and make some food. Dash! A sound came and Little Rock immediately became alert. He wanted to take care of the sneak attacker but was stopped by Sima Yue. Let's see what rank it is. If it's not strong, I haven't fought since I advanced. It's just a 3rd level sacred beast. Little Rock said. Then I'll take care of it myself. Sima Yue had just kept Little Rock and the others when she saw a huge python attacking her. Sima Yue leaped away from her original position, and the python crashed into the tree that she was leaning on earlier. Chapter 628. That python's attack failed, so it turned around and attacked her again. Sima Yue dodged in the air. So ugly, much uglier than my little golden snake. Sima Yue said. The little golden snake was wrapped around the devil's snare bracelet. When it heard Sima Yue's words, it nodded cooperatively. It was so ugly, much uglier than itself. Such an ugly person should commit suicide to atone for his sins. Also, I hate pythons the most. Sima Yue said again, which made the little golden snake's body stiffen, and then it looked at her with grievance. Sima Yue looked at little golden snake's aggrieved expression and reached out to stroke its little head, saying, Little golden snake is golden snake's snake, not a python, so I don't hate it. The little golden snake stretched out its little head and rubbed against her finger. Only then did it lower its head happily. When the python heard Sima Yue's words, a vicious look flashed across its cold eyes. Its long tail swung towards her in the air. Sima Yue condensed her spiritual energy to counterattack. The two of them were locked in a fierce battle. Sima Yoyue's combat power was much stronger than it was now, but she had not fully grasped her current strength. She was using the opportunity to slowly familiarize herself with her current strength while fighting the python. The sound of their fight attracted the attention of the people nearby. A group of people were not far away and ran over when they heard the commotion. They happened to see Sima Yue preparing to stab the python with her sword. "Stop. Please show mercy." Several people shouted at her. At the same time, one of them attacked her. She had no choice but to change her actions and confront that person. Sima Yue exchanged a few blows with that person before landing far away. When she saw the group of people who had just arrived, she asked coldly, "Are these your spiritual beasts?" "No." A woman said, "Could it be that you don't know that spirit beasts are not allowed to be killed in the maze? If you had stabbed down earlier, I'm afraid you would have to face the Academy's punishment." "Is this the Academy's spirit beast?" Sima Yue looked at the python that she had beaten up and asked in astonishment. "You don't know?" The woman who spoke looked at her in surprise. Sima Yue shook her head. "No one told me." "Did you come here alone?" Another man walked over and asked. "Sort of." Sima Yue said, "Teacher brought me here and then he left, leaving me here." Which teacher is this? How can he be so bold?" "You actually don't know that this is the Academy's spirit beast? Are you a new student?" The girl who spoke first said, "That's not right, new students should also know the rules." "Rules? What rules?" "He didn't say anything to me. He just said that this is the maze forest and that I would reach the Academy after passing through here. He told me to pass through here and that he would wait for me at the Academy." Sima Yue said. "Which teacher brought you here?" "Teacher Su." Sima Yue said. Everyone stared at her with their eyes wide open. "Teacher Su Jin?" "That's him." Sima Yue said. At the same time, she added a sentence in her heart. "It's that scammer." "You're Sima Yue?" the woman asked. "You know me?" This time, it was Sima Yue's turn to be astonished. "So you are the one who blinded all the teachers during the assessment and applied for a year's leave before entering the inner courtyard. No wonder you don't know about this." The woman smiled and said, "I am Shui Rong, considered your senior. They are also your senior brothers and sisters." Sima Yue. Sima Yue said her name and asked, "What are you all doing? What's up with the spirit beasts in the Academy?" "This is where the Academy usually trains. There are many spirit beasts in this forest. Those who want to improve their abilities can come here to improve their combat experience. But there is a condition: you cannot kill the spirit beasts here. Otherwise you will be severely punished by the Academy." Shui Rong explained. "That scammer." Sima Yue cursed in her heart. Then she smiled and said, "Thank you all for just now. If it wasn't for you, I would have broken the rules." No wonder this fella attacked without saying anything. It thought that she was here to train. In the end, she almost killed it and prepared to use its flesh to make soup. Thinking of this, she suddenly felt guilty towards this python. She walked over and took out a pill. She opened the python's mouth and fed it. Then she patted its head and said, "I'm sorry, brother." The python was beaten up by her and was paralyzed on the ground. After eating her pill, it felt much better and its wounds began to heal quickly. At this moment, its heart was crumbling. It had heard the conversation between Sima Yue and Shui Rong. It felt that it had met an idiot. Fortunately, these people had saved him. Sima Yue could feel the resentment in its heart. She coughed twice and said, Do you want me to give you 2 more pills?" Hearing her say this, the python's eyes lit up and said, "Are you serious?" "Of course." Sima Yue took out a jade bottle and said, "Here, you can't argue with me about what happened tonight." "All right." The python took the pill and left without hesitation. "Yue, what kind of pill is this?" Shui Rong walked over and asked. "It's a recovery pill for spirit beasts." Sima Yue replied. "You have pills that spirit beasts can eat?" Shui Rong was a little surprised. Then she smiled and said, "That's right, you're an alchemist. It's not strange that you have these pills." Rong, since there's nothing else, let's go back to the camp." Ma Bo Jian, the man who stopped Sima Yue, said. "Yue, it's very dangerous for you to be here alone. Why don't you come with us?" Shui Rong said. "Is it very dangerous here?" Sima Yue asked. "There are many spirit beasts here. Some of them are very strong." Shui Rong said, "Even though the spirit beasts won't kill us, they might cripple us if they can't take it. There have been a few cases where people were crippled or killed in the Academy. That's why people from the Academy usually don't come here alone." Even though Sima Yue felt that she would be fine, she still accepted Shui Rong's invitation and followed them to the camp. Their camp was not far from here. That's why they were able to come over in such a short time. Sima Yue followed them for a while and arrived. Yue, when did you get here? Shui Rong asked. Just a while ago. That guy appeared before I even finished cooking. Sima Yue shrugged. You still want to eat? Aren't you a spirit master? A girl looked at Sima Yue as if she was looking at a monster. It's a personal habit. Sima Yue said, I've loved good food since I was young. Even if I don't need to eat now, I'll cook when I have time. How about you guys? How long have you been here? Chapter 629. We've already been here for almost a month. Shui Rong said, there's a rule in this maze, we can't leave from where we came from. We are now close to an exit and will be leaving in a few days. There are such rules? Sima Yue felt that there were quite a lot of rules in the inner courtyard. That's right. Perhaps this is to prevent us from going back. Shui Rong said. What do you plan to do next? Why don't you come with us? Sure, Sima Yue agreed happily. My teacher didn't say that I can't go with others. Yue, did you really ask for leave and didn't come? A woman in a white fringed dress looked at her curiously. No, this is my first time in the inner yard. Sima Yue said, but I didn't expect to meet such a bad teacher who left me here. He didn't even worry that I would be crippled by the spirit beasts here. Although Teacher Su is a bit unreliable, he probably won't leave you in the lurch. Shui Rong said, even though his students' tempers are a little weird, they are all very powerful. Cough cough, we're talking about alchemy. To be honest, when we first heard that there was a student who applied for a year's leave before entering the inner court, we were curious which teacher taught him. Later on, when we heard that it was Teacher Su, we didn't find it strange anymore. Do you think I'm a weirdo too? Sima Yue said. Shui Rong smiled embarrassedly. You don't look strange at all. The woman in white smiled. Furthermore, you're really powerful. That python was a third-level sacred beast, yet you were able to deal with it alone. We can't do it yet. Sima Yue smiled and looked at the silent Ma Bojian, saying, if I'm not wrong, this should be the Ma Bojian who is ranked 200 on the billboard. When Shui Rong introduced him just now, she only felt that his name sounded familiar. Only now did she remember that Fatty Chu and the others had mentioned this person a few days ago. Yue, you haven't even entered the inner yard and you're already trying to gain insight? My brothers and a few friends have also entered the inner yard. They mentioned it to me a few days ago when they came back. Sima Yue said. Ma Bojian looked at Sima Yue and said, you're not weaker than me. When he said this, everyone else was stunned. Bojian, you said that Yue is not weaker than you? The woman in white looked at Ma Bojian and then looked at Sima Yue, her eyes filled with shock. Ma Bojian nodded. When he fought with Sima Yue just now, he could clearly feel that she was not weaker than him. She was even a little stronger than him. But wasn't she an alchemist master? The way the others looked at Sima Yue changed. Initially they thought that she was only good at alchemy, but they didn't expect that she was so strong. However, they subconsciously thought that she relied on alchemy. After all, alchemists didn't lack alchemy, and some alchemy could increase a person's strength. Then Yue, you can participate in the 3 great conventions. You'll definitely get good results. Shui Rong said. Yue, do you know about the 3 great conventions? I do. Before I came in, Master Gu told me that he wanted me to participate. But it's up to me whether I want to go or not. I'll decide after I understand the situation in the inner yard. Sima Yue said. If you want to go, we'll go and cheer you on. Shui Rong smiled. Alright, if I go, I'll definitely tell you guys so that you can cheer me on. Sima Yue smiled and replied. That night, they chatted until late into the night. For the next few days, Sima Yue followed Shui Rong and the others. After a few days of getting along with each other, she found that these people were not bad. It was probably because of the saying that birds of a feather flock together. Later on, they had become good friends. Today, they had just experienced a battle. Ma Bojian and Shui Rong had defeated a third-level sacred beast. However, both of them had suffered some injuries. They took out some pills and ate them. Then they rested in an empty space. Although they were injured, it did not affect their mood. Shui Rong was still a little excited as she shared her battle experience with everyone. Aha, I told you that they were the ones fighting. How was it? I wasn't wrong, right? A maniacal laughter came from behind. Sima Yue noticed that Ma Bojian and the others' faces had changed when they heard this voice. Shui Rong stood up and turned to look at the group of people walking over. They had about twice as many people as them. She asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" "Shui Rong, we're already so familiar with each other. What do you think we're doing here?" The person who spoke earlier laughed sinisterly. "Weren't you guys very proud of stepping on us under your feet? Today we're sincerely here to reconcile with you guys." Hearing his words, Sima Yoyue's face was filled with confusion. The others' faces turned ugly. "Jiashan, how do you want to reconcile?" Ma Bojian looked coldly at the leader. "It's very simple. Hand over all the territories that you've snatched from us. Then kneel on the ground and call us Big Brother 100 times. Jiashan said. "That was our territory in the first place. You guys snatched it from us first. We're just taking it back." Shu Yuan, the girl in white, said. "The things that we've snatched are ours. If you continue to snatch them, wouldn't that be the same as snatching our things?" A man with inverted triangle eyes beside Jiashan shouted. Shu Yuan was furious. She wanted to rush up and argue with them, but was held back by Shui Rong. Yuan, don't be rash." Although the others were angry, they still restrained themselves. "Jiashan, you know that I can't make the decision on my own," Ma Bojian said. "You're the second in command of your group. If you can't make the decision, who else can?" Jiashan said, "As long as you agree, will the others have any other ideas?" "Even if I agree, the brothers in the group won't agree." "How won't agree?" Ma Bojian said. "As long as you guys agree, we naturally have a way to make them agree." Jiashan said. "Boss, don't waste your breath on them. If you ask me, just beat them up." "Do you think they won't agree?" The inverted triangle eyes said from the side. He looked at Shui Rong with a vicious gaze. Last time he was beaten to the ground by her and was stepped on by her. Just now he had heard Shui Rong's spiritual technique and guessed that they were here. Today they had more people and were stronger than the other party. He had to return the humiliation he had suffered back to them. Sima Yu finally understood. This should be a conflict between the two teams in the inner sect. The other party didn't look like a good person at a glance, especially that inverted triangular eye. The way he looked at her had a trace of wretchedness, which made her very uncomfortable. Chapter 630. Shui Rong also felt the gaze of the inverted triangle eyes. She stepped forward and stood in front of Yue. "That inverted triangular-eyed guy is very masculine. Many new students have been played by him when they first arrived in the inner courtyard," she whispered to Sima Yue. "Yo, I didn't expect you to have a new member." The inverted triangle eyes laughed. "He's quite handsome. But I heard that your club didn't recruit a single new member this time. Where did this kid come from?" "It's none of your business." Shui Rong glared at him. "Put away your dirty eyes, or I'll blind them for you." "Tisk, Shui Rong, don't tell me you're standing in front of her because I'm not interested in you? I really don't like someone like you. That brat is still more handsome." The inverted triangle eyes said lecherously. "There really is a kid and he looks very young. I wonder how it'll be like." Someone spoke even more bluntly. "Haha. Little guy, what are you going to do with this kind of useless society? If you want to join a big society like ours. Only then will you have a way out. What do you think? If you come over now, you can avoid physical pain today," Jiashan said. He knew that there were a few people in their club who liked to do these things. Since a brother had taken a fancy to her, he would just take her in. "Jiashan, take your men and put away that disgusting look," Ma Bojian scolded. Sima Yue came out from behind Shui Rong and looked at the person opposite her, saying, "Is killing allowed in the inner courtyard?" "Under normal circumstances it's not allowed," Shui Rong said. "If the outer yard can do it, why can't the inner yard do it?" Sima Yue was confused. "Because those who are able to enter the inner courtyard are all considered to have better talent. It would be a pity if they died," Shui Rong explained. "What a pity," Sima Yue said regretfully. "I wanted them to die painlessly, but now it seems that they have to live painfully." Before anyone could react, they saw a figure flash by, followed by a scream that resounded through the forest. Sima Yue was standing at the same spot with a dagger in her hand. The dagger was still dripping with blood. Opposite her, inverted triangle eyes had his hands on his thighs and was curled up on the ground, screaming in pain. Not far away, a piece of meat mixed with the cloth of his trousers was thrown on the ground. Everyone was stunned by this turn of events. She actually, Sima Yue congealed some water to clean the dagger. Then she took out a handkerchief and wiped the dagger carefully. I hate it when people look at me with such disgusting eyes. If you're unhappy, your hand will slip. She blew on the dagger and only stopped when she saw that it was really clean. She threw the scarf on the ground and looked at the person on the ground with murderous intent. You actually crippled him? Jia Shan shouted. Didn't you see it? Sima Yue said, my dagger is very fast. If any of you want to try, I don't mind helping you completely. I'll cut off your third leg so that you won't be affected by your lower body. Seeing her clean actions and cold voice, all the men present subconsciously clamped their legs together. How dare you injure a member of my Thunderbolt Society? Does your society not want to continue existing? Jia Shan was frightened by her aura. At this moment he really felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. You're wrong. I'm not from their society. Sima Yue said, I just happened to meet them. Originally, I didn't intend to interfere in the matters between your two societies. But who asked you to disgust me and even have designs on me? If you don't want to end up like him, hurry up and get lost. Haha, how arrogant. My Thunderbolt Society has never been afraid of anyone. Since you're not from the society, it's even easier. How dare you hurt my people? Men, catch her and bring her back to the leader. Jia Shan shouted. Let's see who dares to move. Ma Bojian took a step forward and stood in front of Yue, blocking her. Ma Bojian, do you want to go against us because of someone who's not from your society? Jia Shan questioned sternly. His people were crippled in front of him. If this were to spread out, how could he show his face? Hence, he didn't care about the matters between the two societies. In his eyes, he was determined to catch Sima Yue and report back. Jia Shan, if you want to catch her, you have to beat me up first. Ma Bojian took out his weapon and stood firmly in front of Yue. You asked for it. Beat all of them down. It doesn't matter if they're crippled, as long as they can't stand up. Jia Shan ordered. It doesn't matter if they're crippled. Sima Yue repeated. Her voice made the people who were about to surround her subconsciously pause. She patted Ma Bojian's shoulder and said, Brother Ma, keep your weapon. I'll handle this so that your society won't be implicated. Yue, don't force yourself. They're all vicious people and there are so many of them. You're not their match. Shui Rong said. You two haven't recovered from your injuries yet. If you go over, you'll still be beaten up. Sima Yue said, since that's the case, watch how I beat people up here. After speaking, she rushed in front of those people and raised her fist to hit them. Close combat was her forte. Adding on her body that was comparable to a spirit beast, she was even stronger than Fatty Chu when it came to beating people up. She took care of one person with one punch. After a few hits, those people were all lying on the ground. Only Jia Shan, who was at the back of the crowd, was left. Sima Yue stood in the middle of a group of people and looked at Jia Shan. He was so scared that he fell to the ground. Who are you? Jia Shan was so scared that he stuttered. It wasn't just him. Shu Yuan and the rest were all staring at her in shock. Me? Why should I tell you who I am? What right do you have to know my name? Sima Yue kicked the person beside her and said, Today I only broke your arms, legs and ribs. If you dare to find trouble with me again, I won't be as nice as today. Now scram. This time no one said anything. Those with broken arms helped those with broken legs up and called out their spirit beasts one by one. They sat on them and quickly left the place. Sima Yue clapped her hands and turned around to look at the stunned people and said, You guys came with me today. Will it cause any trouble for your society? Ma Bojian was the first to react. He kept his weapon and said, Thunderbolt has always wanted to take over our society, but they've failed time and time again. We're now like fire and water with them. Even without you, they wouldn't give us any less trouble. But if it weren't for you, I'm afraid we would have been severely beaten up by them today. Thank you. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.